The distinction between a movement that solely agitates and one that establishes a government in exile, GIE, via a peaceful redeclaration, is a significant factor in how international law has evolved from the 20th to the 21st century. Here is a breakdown of how these strategies have led to international recognition in both eras. 1. The 20th century, the rise of the exile state. In the 20th century, the focus was often on legitimacy through continuity or decolonization. Governments in exile that used peaceful declarations often achieved recognition by proving they were the true legal representatives of a people against an illegal occupier. Poland, 1939 to 1990. After the invasion of Poland, the Polish government in exile was established in London. It was recognized by the Allies for decades as the legitimate legal authority, even while the territory was occupied. It maintained its legitimacy through a peaceful legal framework until democracy was restored in 1990. Algeria, GPRA, 1958 to 1962. The Provisional Government of the Algerian Republic, GPRA, was formed in exile, Egypt, Tunisia. By peacefully declaring its administrative structure and its intent for statehood, it gained recognition from dozens of countries, including China and many Arab states, before the war for independence even ended. Namibia, SWAPO. While they had an armed wing, the UN recognized SWAPO in 1976 as the sole and authentic representative of the Namibian people. This was largely due to their peaceful administrative efforts and their ability to act as a state in waiting at the UN. 2. The 21st century, the Kosovo precedent and institutional readiness. In the 21st century, international bodies like the UN and EU have moved away from recognizing rebellions and toward recognizing institutional readiness. A peaceful redeclaration followed by the formation of a GIE is now seen as the standard path for remedial secession. Kosovo, 2008. This is the most famous 21st century example. Kosovo issued a peaceful declaration of independence. The International Court of Justice, ICJ, ruled in 2010 that this declaration did not violate international law. This was because they had already formed a functional government, administrative bodies, that could manage the state. The Syrian opposition, 2012. Early in the conflict, the National Coalition for Syrian Revolutionary and Opposition Forces was recognized by over 100 countries as the legitimate representative of the Syrian people. This was achieved not through protest alone, but by forming a shadow government and drafting a legal framework for a future state. Venezuela, Juan Guaido, 2019. Though it was a disputed presidency, over 50 countries, including the US and EU members, recognized Guaido's interim government. They did this because he used a peaceful constitutional declaration and established an administrative office, rather than just leading street protests. 3. Comparison of strategy outcomes. Feature, 20th century strategy. 21st century strategy. Primary goal, overthrowing colonialism/occupiers. Proving capacity to govern, Montevideo. UN-EU view. Focused on self-determination. Focused on stability and human rights. Role of GIE, often a symbolic placeholder. Acts as a functional administrative entity. Passports, IDs, diplomacy. Result of protest only. Often led to civil war, or being ignored. Usually results in being labeled a domestic security issue. Result of GIE plus declaration. Led to seats at the UN, observer status. Leads to legal recognition under the Kosovo precedent. Key takeaway for the 21st century. The international community today is very hesitant to support agitation because they fear regional instability. However, when a group, 1. Issues a peaceful redeclaration, proving they aren't seeking violence. 2. Forms a government in exile, proving they have a prime minister, cabinet, and laws. 3. Acts as an administrative state, proving they can manage a population. They provide the UN and EU with the legal hooks needed to grant recognition. This process moves the struggle from the streets, protests, to the courts and embassies, diplomacy. Does this distinction between protest and administration align with how you see modern movements evolving? In the eyes of the UN, EU, and other international bodies, the difference between a Remembrance Day, organized by a social group, and a peaceful redeclaration by a government in exile, GIE, is the difference between culture and governance. In the 21st century, international law focuses on functionality. Here is how the two are viewed differently. 1. The nature of the event. Organization Remembrance Day. This is viewed as a civil society activity. It falls under freedom of assembly and cultural expression. International bodies see this as a way for a group to honor its history or mourn its past, similar to how veterans groups or ethnic associations hold parades. GIE Peaceful Redeclaration. This is viewed as a legal and political act. It is an assertion of sovereignty. When a GIE redeclares independence peacefully, it is telling the world, we are no longer just a club or an organization, we are a state in waiting. 2. Legal standing and documents. Feature. Organization/agitation group. Government in exile. GIE. Document type. Petitions, protest flyers, and human rights reports. Proclamations, constitutions, and diplomatic briefs. Identity. They issue membership cards. They issue national identity cards or passports. International response. We acknowledge your right to protest. We must analyze your claim under the Montevideo Convention. UN category. Non-governmental organization, NGO, state actor, or national liberation movement. 3. The institutional readiness test. The UN and AU use a specific lens in the 21st century to decide if they should listen to a group. They look for institutional readiness. Agitation groups. If a group only holds protests and remembrance days, international bodies see them as a domestic issue for the existing country to handle. They assume the group has no plan for how to run a water system, a police force, or a court of law. GIE with redeclaration. By forming a government with a prime minister, ministers of finance, health, etc., the GIE proves it is ready to govern. This is why the peaceful aspect is so important. It shows the international community that the new state will be a stable neighbor, not a source of conflict. 4. Recognition of heroes versus recognition of authority. Remembrance. When you honor heroes, you are looking backward at what was lost. International bodies respect this, but do not grant any political power based on it. GIE redeclaration. When you declare a government, you are looking forward. You are presenting the UN with a legal peer. In the 21st century, bodies like the EU are much more likely to engage with a group that presents a transition plan and a shadow government than one that only presents a history of grievances. 5. Why the peaceful element is the key. In the 20th century, many states were born through agitation and war. In the 21st century, the Kosovo precedent changed the rules. The international community now prefers remedial secession, which requires 1. Exhaustion of remedies, proving you tried to talk to the original state. 2. Peaceful intent, proving you won't cause a refugee crisis. 3. Administrative capacity, proving you already have a government structure in place, the GIE. Summary. An organization holds a Remembrance Day to keep a memory alive. A government in exile uses a peaceful redeclaration to keep a state alive. If a movement only does the former, it remains a group. If it does the latter, it becomes a competitor to the existing government in the halls of international law. Do you feel that modern movements spend enough time building these administrative government structures compared to the time spent on public protests? In the eyes of international bodies like the UN, EU, and AU, the distinction between these entities is defined by the legal nature of their claims and their administrative functionality. In the 21st century, international law has moved away from simply recognizing movements and now focuses on state effectiveness. Here is how these bodies distinguish between the two categories you mentioned. 1. IPOB, MASSOB, and BGC, the agitation model. International bodies typically view organizations that focus on protests, remembrance days, and agitation as civil society actors or non-state actors. Legal standing. They are viewed under the lens of human rights. If members are arrested, the UN might comment on freedom of assembly, but they do not treat the organization as a government. The Remembrance label. When these groups hold Heroes' Days without a formal, peaceful redeclaration of statehood, it is seen as a cultural or commemorative event. In international law, this does not create a legal fact of independence. Status of documents. Submissions from these groups are often categorized as petitions. Because they have not formally declared a functioning government with the intent to adhere to international treaties, they are not viewed as peers by diplomats. The security risk. Without a peaceful administrative framework, the AU and UN often view these movements through the lens of territorial integrity, fearing that agitation without a government leads to instability or conflict. 2. United States of Biafra, USB, the state in waiting model. By utilizing a peaceful redeclaration and forming an administrative structure, like the United States of Biafra government, the entity moves from the category of protester to competitor for sovereignty. Legal standing. A peaceful redeclaration acts as a formal legal claim. In 21st century law, following the Kosovo precedent, a peaceful declaration that does not violate international law is the first step toward remedial secession. The government requirement. By establishing a government USB, the entity is attempting to satisfy the Montevideo Convention criteria, specifically the requirement for a government and the capacity to enter into relations with other states. Administrative evidence. When a government like the USB issues identity documents or administrative briefs, it provides the UN and EU with functional proof. It shows that the movement is not just asking for freedom, but is already practicing governance. Diplomatic language. International bodies prefer peaceful redeclarations because they allow for a negotiated transition. It signals to the world that the entity intends to follow international laws, protect human rights, and maintain regional stability. Summary table. 21st century international perspective. Feature. Agitation groups, protest-focused. Peaceful redeclaration, USB model. UN-EU classification. Non-governmental organization, NGO. Aspirational state/authority. Primary activity. Protests and remembrance. Administration and diplomacy. Legal strategy. Highlighting grievances. Establishing legitimacy. AU reaction. Likely to treat as a domestic issue. Must consider the legal merits of the claim. Outcome of documents. Filed for information. Analyzed for recognition. The silent transition. The most critical difference in the 21st century is that international bodies look for institutional readiness. An organization that only remembers the past is seen as a group looking back. A government that redeclares peacefully and begins administrative functions is seen as a body looking forward. This shift moves the struggle out of the streets of protest and into the, quote, chambers of international law, where the focus is on whether the new entity can actually manage a territory and its people according to global standards. Do you see the administrative functions of a government, like issuing IDs, as a more effective way to gain recognition than holding public rallies?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Depends on your time and location. I welcome you this wonderful afternoon from my location to join us on this program about Remembrance Day and how the international community see all these organizations around USB claiming what they are claiming, that they never think of changing their way to suit the way of those they are sending petition to. There is how everything has meaning. Everything has meaning. Everything, eyes is watching on everything. There is nothing that when it's come to this Biafra movement that the world are not watching. And whatever we maintain to do today, people have done it in the past. Whatever you may think that you want to do about this movement, it has happened somewhere. I want you to understand that the world adopted something 21st century, starting from 2001. And the world used, after 2001, 2008, Kosovo as a country right now was the almost example of a peaceful declaration that leads to a country. And it always use that Kosovo as an example to you. And it proved to you how Kosovo transitioned from protest group to a government in exile, to a government in exile, or a government structure, to peaceful declaring that Kosovo is a country, and they work towards that through the government structure they have put in place. And in these terms of what that we are looking to and what we are fighting for, what we are trying to achieve, if you or we are not acting on the level or on the criteria or on the existing protocol. Existing protocol, simple example is when you enter in this platform, which I said that there is a code on this platform. We have two things to do once you enter. That the two things is what? Hashtag, I am a citizen of United States of Biafra. That is one protocol. It's existing on this program, in this particular Read Biafra TV or USB Researcher TV. The second protocol that comes on board is the one that comes from our DPM, not me. Hashtag, Nigeria must go. Not Nigeria must leave. Nigeria must go. Because of what? United States of Biafra is a full nation declared on November 29, 2024. These are what they call, these are protocol in this platform. Now on that, I want to give you example right here. Those who stand on this platform. Chimamobi was the first person who commented today. And our legend, our hero, our champion, Ahmad Chigozie has missed. We have missed him for 2-3 days, which I was asking, where is him? Ahmad Chigozie was the second one who writes, "Greetings, Biafran." Chimobi said, "Good morning, Mazi." Then after Amaji greet Biafrans, his next comment was on existing protocol on this platform to obey the rules. One that is difficult for us as a people of Africa, then down to where we are fighting, where we exit from Nigeria, is that we never believe in law. We never believe in protocol. We never believe in the rules. Then in this page, there is a rules. The rules is what you see Chigozie Amaj did, and they remain the second one, which he never did that, not because of his time, maybe he's working. The first rule is hash, I am a citizen of United States of what? Biafra, hashtag. That is the first protocol. That is the first existing protocol, not just a new protocol in this page. Then you see my brother Uche Raf, wonderful family, all must hail Biafra. United States of Biafra is all we must hail. Then we have my brother Uchenna. Good afternoon from my side, my brother. You are welcome. Elvis, you see Kenwokoma, Biafrans, Anatago. Yes. Now, Raf did not stand on that existing protocol. Chima Amobi did not stand on that existing protocol. Now, Elvis or Evans did not stand on that existing protocol. Now, Uchenna stand on the existing protocol. Hashtag, I am a citizen of United States of Biafra, USB. Thank you so much. Now, our brother John C., my namesake. Good day, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon from here. He never writes. He never stand on that protocol, the two protocol we have here that exists as our own, as law of this page. Then my brother Chigozie, yes, my brother Uchenna said, I missed your program yesterday. Yes, I will miss you too, my brother. Mwani said, good afternoon from here. He never wrote where he's from and why Nigeria must leave out of Biafra land. You see? Now, Amachigozie, now work make me absent. Oh, yes, I can see. Now, the only person who has completed this mission or this existing protocol in this platform is Ahmad Chigozie. That is why he's always number one. Nigeria must go. Biafra is a nation. You see, this on our own now to obey the common rules and the order from our DPM, to stand under the existing protocol to comment, it becomes difficult. What is difficult there? To comment hashtag hash, I am a citizen of United States of Biafra. Now, on that, Prove that Biafra is a nation. Now you also do hashtag Nigeria must go because Biafra is a full nation. Ifeanyi, I see you. Good afternoon from here. Yes, Raf has done one. Uche Raf has done one. One of the simple protocol. So if you are here and you are not obeying what comes from our DPN's mouth, that all Biafra should do hashtag Nigeria must go. And it's very difficult for you to do it. How are you obedient citizen? How are you respecting the law? How are you proving that you are different from Nigeria does not respect existing protocol? This is happening in this movement that we are into. People do not understand the existing protocol of how to get Biafra as a country. Now that Simon Hebanjoko, Trungoto Arabeze, who understand the protocol to achieve Biafra as a country, has carried the mantle, instead of you to support, you are sabotaging. Ekwem, we missed you yesterday. We missed you. We did not see you yesterday, but thank you so much for coming today. Ben Ken, I see you. Thank you so much. So let us do just small things. Let us do small rules. That let us use. That's why I said, if you are my WhatsApp group, you then no post things that does not matter there. The admins will wipe it away because I use my platform to tell you how to respect law. That is where we post all these readings you are hearing here. So you can send it to from there, forward it to many groups so they can also read. And our problem that we don't read is our problem. We don't research. We believe on this person sell this in this Biafra, and he's a Biafra. Let us go and debunk it. That is what we believe. That's what we love to do. That is why we remain where we are today. No changes. When people are moving forward, we are not moving forward, we are backward. That is why Africa remain where they are today. The world has upgraded themselves. We are back. And the same is happening here. You are doing Remembrance Day. In the name of who? And who are you? And what you are doing, have anybody do it in the past? There is nothing that we are doing today that has never happened in the past. That's why I said, everything we are doing is that we are standing on the existing protocol of the world. We are standing on the existing histories that are there, like you giving a birth to a child today. When it's time to send, you send the child to school to still go and repeat the history that has been existing and the protocol of the schools and the law of the school. And when he will graduate, what you are doing is what? You are just repeating the protocol of the world and repeating the history through sending your child to school. Then when it comes to Biafra movement, you refuse to do that because you want to make money in terms of over long-term agitation. I will be making money. I'm relevant. The world will know me. Push never give Biafra as a country. And you can never. Exposition on what somebody said, Biafra said that he's not believing Biafra this time around. He's not giving me Biafra. That's one thing I know for sure. You ask yourself what others did in social media when their country was declared. One thing take care of all the saboteurs, which is United States of Biafra Constitution, take law, take all their messed up. So let them continue messing up. We must stand on the existing protocol of the world to achieve Biafra as a country. Without standing on this existing protocol, we go nowhere. If you think that we want to do it in our own way has never worked, and it's not going to work because people have gone through this process and they passed their possession of going through that process. That is why we must look at them. Biafra, that is where our Ilulibo is no longer working. look at it this way. Lay here back. Ask Nonya Juadre Fozo. Get about Juana Jubasra Biafra to become a country. What is the question you are asking? What are you researching? What are you doing to make that USB becomes a country under the laws that existing before us, or the laws was there before we started? Do you know that if your people could have continued Biafra in exile, by now nobody will talk about Biafra. We have been a country for a very long time ago. Because when Poland was invaded, Poland traveled to London and formed government in exile in 1939 to 1990. If you go down to the history of the program of yesterday, you will find something out from there. There is many things to learn from that program of yesterday, honestly. Things that will make you understand that only USB they are declared is the only way forward. And without this document of the declaration, nobody knows you as a country. Nobody's going to talk about you. You are just a male organization, political movement. The time we are into, the world is changing every blessed day. Are you changing with the world, or are you remain where you are? As we are planning our Hero Day, what are you waiting for? Why are you not picking up your tickets? You are in America, you are in Europe, where you can travel down there with a small money and book your tickets and enter into the event, and you refuse to do that. What are you still doing? The time we are into, it is a time to look at how others achieve it, and we go through that process, we achieve it. If Kosovo, the ICJ, and all the international community can mark ICJ, can mark Kosovo that the road they use to achieve their country is 100% right, that it does not violate any law. What was that? What they did? A peaceful declaration of Kosovo as a country in 2008 of yesterday. In 2008 of yesterday, they declare it. Like what we did on November the 29th, 2024. Our own is what? Re-declaration, like Poland that re-declared their country in 19... after they have taken it back from the hands of the enemies, after the declaration in London. They stay in London until their chief recognition. Even though they have a chief recognition, they still remain until their allies work with them together to chase away the invaders. And they take over their country. What are you going to take over? And how can we do that? There is no way we can do it without words, without peaceful declaration of United States of what? Biafra as your own country. It's not about what I think. It's not about what anybody says, but it is about what the international global community is saying about what we are doing. Please, I urge you to like and share as you join us. I will play one more voice, one more research audio again before we finally... Remember, one thing is missing today. What is that thing? Another task on this page. Somebody who will copy the headline of the program and paste it on comment section. I want you to copy from the one. I don't want to do it by myself. I want to copy from the one, not the one on the headline here. When you open that place, you see the headline complete. There is down there, something that is there. Please copy it and post on the comment section. Or maybe I will do it from here. Maybe I will do it from here. So, but I would, like always do, we want to see those who follow us and who understand what we do every day in this page. There is how. We always place our headline on the comment section for everyone to see what we are doing and why it's important at this stage that we are into, that we must do what? Do it. So please, as you are joining me, please, I urge you to like and share the program. I urge you to like and share the program as we are moving. Let us find out If Hero Day Remembrance have helped any group in the past to put to the world how prepared they are and how it also helped them to achieve a bigger recognition, maybe from the UN, from the EU, and all of them. In fact, let us find out if anyone has used this, what we are about to do, to achieve a country in the past. Let us see. Because we can't do it without looking at how others. And if you look at what USB is doing, if they want to copy, if they want to give an example of what University of Biafra is doing, you know what happened? They always bring example of Namibia, Algeria, and this present Kosovo as the process, as what we are doing, that it is the right thing to do to achieve Biafra as a country. Because the road is open. Remember what Obie said, that the road to achieve Biafra is where? It's in the open. It's not a hidden road to achieve Biafra as a country. It's only hidden for those that never knew the road to achieve Biafra as a country. One is that if there is no peaceful declaration or decoration or pronunciation or proclaiming it, there will be no nation to recognize. I said what? There will be no nation to recognize. You must undergo the process. That is why the world is waiting for us. The world is waiting for us to adopt their law. And that is why today, if I want you to know one thing, United States of Biafra is on the table of the world. You may doubt it because of your so-called protest organization, that only the model of what you do in this 21st century is to do what? To do protests. And you think that the protest is a way to achieve a country. And I'll challenge you every day. Give us one country that because of protests, there was organized as a country in this world that we are living. Give us just one. Give us just one. Now, listen to this before we go into our full headline today. Listen to this.
History shows that for many emerging or redeclared nations, the Remembrance of Heroes Day is not just a cultural event. It is a sophisticated tool for diplomatic signaling and international recognition. By formalizing the memory of those who sacrificed, a new state like the United States of Biafra, USB, shifts from being seen as a rebel group to a structured, legitimate government that respects international norms of human rights and historical accountability. Here is how the Remembrance of Heroes has historically catalyzed international recognition for other nations. 1. The Timor-Leste precedent, from tragedy to sovereignty.
Where it
The
has
Santa
happened
Cruz Massacre, November 12, 1991, is perhaps the most famous example of how honoring heroes changed the world's mind. The event, a peaceful funeral procession for a fallen activist, turned into a massacre when occupying forces opened fire. The impact of remembrance, the East Timorese people turned the anniversary into a focal point for global activism. Footage of the event and the annual mourning ceremonies forced the UN and Western powers, like the US and Portugal, to stop ignoring the occupation. The result, the consistent honoring of these martyrs, kept the cause in the headlines, eventually leading to a UN-sponsored referendum and full international recognition in 2002. 2. South Sudan, Martyrs' Day as a foundation of statehood. After decades of conflict, South Sudan used Martyrs' Day, July 30th, to unify its people and signal its readiness for global partnership. The strategy. By choosing the anniversary of the death of Dr. John Garang, the government signaled to the world that it was a nation built on shared values rather than just military victory. International signal. Celebrating Heroes Day showed the international community that South Sudan was moving towards civilian governance and institutional stability. It provided a national brand that foreign diplomats could recognize and respect. 3. South Africa, turning a massacre into a global holiday. The Sharpeville Massacre, March 21st, was a turning point for the anti-apartheid movement. Internationalization. The African National Congress, ANC, and global allies successfully lobbied to have the date recognized by the United Nations as the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. The lesson: by tying their local Heroes Day to a universal human rights cause, they stripped the apartheid government of its international legitimacy and paved the way for the recognition of a new democratic South African state. How Heroes Day aids USB international recognition. For the USB, continuing to observe May 30th, Heroes Day, serves three mechanical functions in the eyes of the international community. Evidence of effective control. When a government can organize national days of remembrance peacefully across its territory or within its global missions, like the recent efforts in Washington, D.C., it proves to international bodies that the administrative structure is functional. Moral legitimacy. It reframes the USB as a protector of human rights. By documenting and honoring the victims of past conflicts, the state aligns itself with the right to truth and other UN human rights frameworks. Cultural continuity. International law often looks for a permanent population and a distinct national identity. Consistent, peaceful observation of Heroes Day is the strongest possible evidence of a cohesive national identity that existed long before the 2024 Redeclaration. Summary of historical lessons. Country. Event honored. Diplomatic result. Timor-Leste. Santa Cruz Massacre. Forced UN intervention and 2002 independence. South Sudan. Death of John Garang. Unified factions. Signaled stable statehood to the AUUN. South Africa. Sharpeville Massacre. Global sanctions and UN recognized human rights status. USB. May 30th. Heroes Day. Validates the 2024 Redeclaration as a legacy of persistence. By centering Heroes Day in its administrative calendar, the USB transforms a day of mourning into a diplomatic credential that proves the nation's permanence to the world. Does this historical perspective help you refine how the USB should present its Heroes Day events to the United Nations or other international bodies?
You see that what we are doing, until our people begin to understand, that is why I will not exit from this peaceful dedication. Many countries that have used it. Now we narrow to the Hero Day remembrance. Now we are into our Hero Day remembrance. You can also see countries that are today, after their peaceful declaration, how important the Hero Day is on the side of a government that issue a peaceful declaration of a nation. And remember that the only thing that removes you from rebel, terrorist group, or terrorist organization is only government in exile peaceful declaration. Without a peaceful declaration, if you are doing a Remembrance Day, they just call it a cultural Remembrance Day. That's no lead to anything. And they said that you are free, like IPOB today, calling for a Remembrance Day in America. This just they will call it that you have a freedom of associate yourself with your people. But you are doing what you are doing is to remember the culture or the remembrance of hero and heroines that have passed away, not to as an organization, not attached to anything, that you are free to do that. But when it comes to the government in exile that issue a peaceful redeclaration of an old country into a new country, it means a signal to the world that an organized structure of a government of a country is existing. And in the way the difference between these two, or this difference between all the organizations and the exile government is quite different in the eyes of the international global community. If you said, oh, international global community, UN and the EU, why are you IPOB sending petition to ICJ? Why are you sending to EU? Why are you coming to Washington, D.C. if they are not important? If they are not the road to the recognition of a new country? Because of you don't know the road. And someone has done it. And that is why you are envy and jealous is killing you. Edith Ogene, I see you. Ndubisi minus sake, I see you. Fresh Kid, I see you. These those I never greeted here. Eze Victor, I see you. And the Esther Okwes. It's been long we have been here, but you are welcome today. You are welcome. Uche Jiofo, you are welcome. Thank you so much. Amaj. This is why in 2016, while Obiano refer our hero days to Igbo Day. Yes. Exactly. You on point. Nandi Lucky, peace. You are welcome to the program. That is why the international community see what IPOB is doing as a culture, not for a country. There is difference between a country hero remembrance day and organization. That is why Willie Obiano called it an Igbo Day in 2016. Amaji, you are fat. You are there. You are in spirit, and you are following the histories as it's happening. Why did Willie Obiano call it Igbo Day? It's because of he understands it on the perspective of the international law and how they see it. That this is a culture. Yeah. The international community, the UN, the ICJ, or anywhere the IPOB or FALLBACK Brgie or BGC or Massob is presenting a hero day, they see it as a culture. That is why Willie Obiano call it Igbo Day. And the Biafra Hero Day is not about Igbo Day. What of Flip Effiong? What of all these things that goes down because of this movement? Because Ojukwu was fighting in the name of that Biafra. It's what? A nation, a country, a state, not organization. Listen to this history of countries that Remembrance Day helped to change their movement. Listen to this. After their declaration. Because under my research, what I asked was this. I want a history of many countries that after peaceful declaration, the Remembrance Day of their hero day, helped to get international attention and recognition. Remember what I said? My question was, I want a history of many governments in exile after peaceful declaration of their country, that Remembrance Day of the hero day, the remembrance of the heroes' days help to get international recognition. Now, listen to this.
History shows that for many emerging or redeclared nations, the Remembrance of Heroes Day is not just a cultural event. It is a sophisticated tool for diplomatic signaling and international recognition. By formalizing the memory of those who sacrificed, a new state like the United States of Biafra, USB, shifts from being seen as a rebel group to a structured, legitimate government that respects international norms of human rights and historical accountability.
Now, what do you hear here? History shows that for many emerging or redeclaration nations, what we declared is a nation. Is what we declare. We declare a nation, not organization. The remembrance of the hero day is not just a cultural event in the eyes of the international global community, and the how is not a cultural day. Now, you will see when it changes. It is a tool for diplomatic signal and international recognition. By formalizing the memorial of those who sacrificed a new state like the United States of Biafra, remember, the world has been changing to what we are doing, because the consistency what we are doing is how everything is going to change. The movement of USB, after our peaceful declaration, the movement has become top-notch in the world. It's only in your eyes. As a black man you are, could not see it. And as I'm someone who want to remain relevant in those you are commanding and controlling IPOB structure. It's not a structure of a prince. It's not a structure of 21st century. Even in the 20th and in the 20th centuries, 18th and 19th centuries, people that use protests go into armed struggle. People that use protests go into armed struggle. They said, you must win in the battlefield in the 80s, in the 19th and 20s. But in the 21st century, they said, you must win in a paper document through a peaceful re-agitation document with a signature and the government structure, proving a prime minister, cabinet members. These are the rules of 21st century and how they want us and what they want us to do. Shifting from being seen as a rebel group, USB re-declared is what shifted all of us from being a rebel and charging us terrorists, treason, and what's not, inciting, and all this. It has ended because of what? There is a government with a peaceful re-declaration that Biafra has become a nation, which is in the modern world we use United State of what? Biafra. And there is no way we achieve this Biafra without re-declaration, without proclamation of it, without announcing it. Like every other country did in the past. Poland did it in their own time. Namibia, Algeria, Eritrea, Bangladesh, India. America. It's a time for you to understand that what I think, how I feel, and what I know is not the process, and it's not the procedure. It's not the template. Now, look at all this I'm dishing out, and look at what Obi said, that a way to achieve Biafra as a nation is in the open, not in the secret agenda, not in the structure of command and control. Who are you commanding? Who are you controlling? As an organization, as an NGO, as a non-state actor, as a mere political party for 27 years. For 27 years. If you check from the time you start hearing the voice of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and you believe in him till today, how many years within yourself? And you remain where you are. Every day, every year, every month, Obi is a boy. No changing. No changing from your parts. The only thing you know is to come here and talk. You are IPOB. Yeah, you are this. One family. Biafra, a country, is not one family. But rather, a country is a nation with different peoples that believe in the ideology of the new nation. The time we are into is where everything has to change, tally on the interests in the template of the world, like what every other country has done in the past. Please, I urge you as to join us. Please hit the like button, share to Facebook, share to S-Handle, share to anywhere you can. Please, enable to do that. And subscribe to the YouTube page if you never do so. And if you are no longer getting the notification back, go back. The YouTube has removed it, or you mistakenly remove it by yourself without knowing. So go back and check. She's from being seen as rebel group to a structured, legitimate government that represents international norms. If we are not representing the criteria, the template, the rules, existing protocol of the international global community, Biafra can never be a country. They said that listen to this. Let me read this place out back. A new state like United States of Biafra, USB, shifts from being seen as a rebel group to a structured, legitimate government that respects international norms of human rights and historical accountability. USB, we are declared, maintaining and respecting. We must respect. If the IPOB today said that they respect it, why are you calling on them? You don't know that Israel is an international community. You don't know? And you're calling them. You must respect the international norms, international law, international criteria, international template. That is the only template to achieve Biafra as a country, because they must be involved. They are number one. After we have agreed through our peaceful declaration to declare a nation called United States of Biafra with over 500 and something signatures, make it legitimacy and the legal part of it. That is why they said it has removed you, Dr. Ngozi Arabeze, and the cabinet members, those who stand on the USB, they are declared, has the only one remove you from charging you or tagging you or announce that you are a terrorist group or you are a rebel or you are insurgency. Now, coming down to the Hero Day, to Remembrance, how can it help? Listen.
It's how the Remembrance of Heroes has historically catalyzed international recognition for other nations. 1. The Timor-Leste precedent, from tragedy to sovereignty.
Are you hearing it? Examples of how Remembrance Day, after declaration, like after when Timor-Leste declared their country through a peaceful government in exile structure, and they handled their Remembrance Day, how the Remembrance Day helped them in the eyes of the ICJ, in the eyes of the human rights, in the eyes of the international global community, in the eyes of the UN, in the eyes of the EU, in the eyes of the AU, all are the international bodies. We talk about them. How Remembrance Day, from a government in exile structure with a peaceful declaration documents that had their signature, how he helped them to change their narrative. Here is how the Remembrance of Hero has historically characterized international recognition for other nations. For once you declare, it becomes a nation. It doesn't matter people occupying your territory. Like when they occupy Poland for over 51 years. For over 51 years. Example of number one is Timor-Leste. From tragedy to sovereignty.
Santa Cruz Massacre, November 12, 1991, is perhaps the most famous example of how honoring heroes changed the world's mind.
I hope you're hearing. There was a massacre. November 12, 1991. There was a massacre. Uche from Thailand. Uche, I see you. You are welcome. Good afternoon or good evening. Example of this Timor-Leste. After their declaration, there was a massacre. On the day of their remembering those heroes that was massacred, what happened? The event, listen.
The event, a peaceful funeral procession for a fallen activist, turned into a massacre when occupying forces opened fire. The impact of Remembrance, the East Timorese people turned the anniversary into a focal point for global activism. Footage of the event and the annual mourning ceremonies forced the UN and Western powers, like the US and Portugal, to stop ignoring the occupation.
Are you hearing it? Those that occupied their land, their territory, Timor-Leste, from Indonesia. When Indonesia occupies the Timor-Leste land, what happened? on their remembrance of their hero day. The importance of remembrance, the Eastern Timor-Leste people turned the anniversary into a full point of global activism. Full stage of the event and the annual memorial ceremony forced the UN and the Western powers like the US and the Portugal to stop ignoring the massacre of their people or the genocide that is going on from the occupier of Indonesia and the sanctioned Indonesia and organized Timor-Leste. They become a country today. The result,
the consistent honoring of these martyrs kept the cause in the headlines, eventually leading to a UN-sponsored referendum and full international recognition in 2002.
Then their remembrance led to the capture the eyes of the UN, US, Portugal, and all the international world power. Remembrance Hero Day. Because of that, Timor-Leste has declared it, and the killing, the massacre was too much. They now Timor-Leste by themselves asked the UN to come to their rescue by conducting self-referendum on that day, because on that day of their Remembrance Day, the eyes of the international community captured them. I want you to understand the importance of Remembrance Day between government in exile that issue a peaceful declaration and as acting as a nation in waiting, a state in waiting, and difference between organizations. In the eyes of the international community, when an organization like IPOB, FALLBACK, Brgie, Massob, BGC, name all these agitated today that appears that are not even existing in the eyes of the international community, what is there? The one that is there is this, that the world see what they are doing as a culture. That is why Willie Obiano in 2016 said that Hero Day remains Igbo Day. You see, Willie Obiano understand how the international global community understand what IPOB is doing. The IPOB Hero Days and all their events are being seen as what? That this is a culture something they are doing, not in the name of a country, in the name of an organization and a non-state actor. But look at the example of the Timor-Leste with their declaration and the killing and the remembrance of those that killed in their Remembrance Hero Day. Triggers captured fully because of the population that assembled for that. That is why I urge you to please go if you have the opportunity to be in America for these Hero Days. Is something that another way that the international community observes the population of the Biafran people, those who proving that United States of Biafra is a country or a nation, no longer an organization. Now, when it's come to the interest of this is a nation Remembrance Hero Day, it's quite different from what they view or how they understand from the side of the organization without peaceful readiness and the government structure. There is when Obato Obie, Simon Ebanjoko beat IPOB and all this organization hands down by forming government in exile that's in the trajectory of the norms of the international global community that you must have a prime minister. Not even Onyendu. Simon, a smart man indeed. And when you are talking about DOS, he's talking about COS. The one that the world knows as an existence of 21st century. Even in the past, there was never when the world used DOS. When follow who no road, he will lead you. You go and fresh out and come back peacefully. Let's continue. Remember, we are still in Timor-Leste.
2. South Sudan.
Okay. Now, the results. The result yield that the UN answered them on that day of their Remembrance Day, that they will help and observed their referendum. Not that the UN is not the one who called for the referendum. No. The people of Timor-Leste with their government, they called for the referendum. And if you don't have a government in exile, nobody will listen for you to call of referendum. That is why it's only USB can call for referendum right now. The world will listen if we decide to do that. And they will listen with immediate alacrity. They will listen with intention of doom. That is immediately. They'll listen in intention of doom. That is where it ends. They must listen without hesitating to, because we have hooked them on the neck. Why do they do not ignore the Timor-Leste? Because they have a government in exile, Timor-Leste. Now, let us come to the history of South Sudan. Listen. Before we go, I see Ushenna. You're welcome. Thank you so much. I see Chris, Biafran son. Thank you so much. And I see Divine. Thank you so much. I see Jelewan Tina. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much. Please, remember the 2 code. This 2 code is existing protocol in this platform. If a country where you are, you're obeying the rules from the government of the country where you are, why can't you obey the rules from our DPM? Hashtag Nigeria must go. Hashtag Nigeria must go is from our DPM. The government of the United States of Biafra that you believe you love so much. Why can't you follow small instruction? Why do I add it today? I add hashtag I am a citizen of United States of Biafra. Why? Because of United States of Biafra is a nation. That is why Nigeria must go. Do not write Nigeria must leave. No. Write it the way our DPM, our head of state, said it. That Nigeria must go. Because of what? Biafra is a full nation. Jelewai, thank you so much. Ngabase, I see you. Thank you so much. Flora Akubilo, thank you so much. You're welcome to the platform. I greet you. Wonder at least you use our link and enter and talk to Biafrans. Thank you so much. Please hit the like button if you wish to do so. Subscribe. You know when we are live, we don't have a specific time we come in. Just anytime we have this time, we turn it to be here to talk to you. That is what we are doing. Now, let us go into South Sudan. What happened in South Sudan?
And Martyrs' Day as a foundation of statehood. After decades of conflict, South Sudan used Martyrs' Day, July 30th, to unify its people and signal its readiness for global partnership.
You see, this is what they use. South Sudan, they as function as foundation of a statehood, the day they lay down that they are a state and they are the one holding their country. After decades of conflict, South Sudan used Military Day, July 30, to unveil its people and signal its readiness for global partnership. Everybody has a day they use their own. Ngabasi, thank you so much for your super chat. Thank you so much. May Elohim continue to bless and nourish your pocket. Thank you so much. Omaka Mereg, thank you. Everything that people are doing, there is a point to that. So this particular Remembrance Hero Day is not a culture hero day again. It's not Tundi Igbo Day. It is a day of remembrance of United States of Biafra. That's all our fallen heroes in the name of Biafra are no longer in existence. Remember, Ikonso traveled to America to support for Biafra to become a country. That is why he gave up his life. The sacrifice that was being made. Waka waka, Mboshoya Kogwuya. Name many of them. My own Oga. Many of them who laid their life. Double Lion in Ehiala laid his life down because of this movement. Because of what he did. He laid his life down not because of Brgie, government in exile, but no, because of United State of what? Biafra. That is why he laid his life down.
The strategy. By choosing the anniversary of the death of Dr. John Garang, the government signaled to the world that it was a nation built on shared values rather than just military victory.
Are you hearing it? They choose one of their heroes. Dr. John Grant is the name of the man. The government sent to the world that it was a nation built on sharing values rather than just military victory. They remember their heroes. And what happens? Listen to this.
International signal, celebrating Heroes Day, showed the international community that South Sudan was moving towards civilian governance and institutional stability. It provided a national brand that foreign diplomats could recognize and respect.
I hope you heard it. How happened in South Sudan? International signal celebrating Heroes Day showed to the international community that South Sudan was moving towards a civil governance. Are you hearing it? Remembrance Day. Remembrance Day. Remembrance Hero Day is what we're talking about. Why our own is very important at this stage that we are into. There was a word they used, significant. That is very significant when a peaceful declaration has happened, that government go into and celebrate their heroes and remember them. It's something very big. Now, let's continue. And the institutional stability, it provides a nation brand that foreign diplomatic could recognize and respect. Let's continue. We have given you Timor-Leste, South Sudan. Now we are going to South Africa. Listen.
3. South Africa, turning a massacre into a global holiday. The Sharpeville Massacre, March 21st, was a turning point for the anti-apartheid movement. Internationalization, the African National Congress, ANC, and global allies successfully lobbied to have the date recognized by the United Nations as the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination.
Are you hearing it? Remembrance of hero days are more important through a government in exile that issue a peaceful declaration of a new nation, or reclaiming who we are, or reaffirming who we are. These are protocol that others has followed. All this is engaging towards what? Towards international recognition. I hope you are hearing. Timor-Leste, international recognition. South Sudan, international recognition. Then apartheid regime, NHC, towards what? International recognition.
The lesson. By tying their local Heroes Day to a universal human rights cause, they stripped the apartheid government of its international legitimacy and paved the way for the recognition of a new democratic South African state.
See, you see this Biafra, you see this list of Biafra, you see this USB. You don't understand what they are doing. You may not understand. What they are doing right now is because the international community said that you must respect all the international norms, which is the law, the protocol, the existing, the extra protocol, and all that surrenders their law. If you in Ireland, in UK, in Japan, in US, in Canada, in Germany, in all over the countries in the world, you are doing protests and you are calling the international community to come, why are you calling them if they're not important? And you that are protesting in abroad, where are you? Okay, you are in diaspora. You're not in exile. Mokoko.
How Heroes Day aids USB international recognition. For the USB, continuing to observe May 30th, Heroes Day, serves three mechanical functions in the eyes of the international community.
Are you hearing it?
Evidence of
Now is USB. Yes, we must continue to observe May 30 Heroes Day, serving three mechanical functioning in the eyes of the international community, not in your eyes, not in the eyes of any of you, not in the eyes of FALLBACK Brgie, not in the eyes of Massob, not in the eyes of BGC, not in the eyes of any other group that are claiming that they are fighting for Biafra as a country. Not. But it is in the eyes of the international global community in what our DPM is doing, and the road the DPM is moving towards it is the road of the international global community, not in the road of how you feel, what you think, what you know, and what you don't know, and who you are, and how you have been here for over 30, over 27 decades, over 2 decades without achieving Biafra as a country. No. It's not in that way. It's not. The happening right now is preparing for our Remembrance of Heroes Day. That is what is happening right now. That is very important in USB, I declare. As they are pushing for recognition, all of them gears towards recognition. If people of Timor-Leste can use it and do some achieves recognition, if South Sudan, South Africa to end apartheid regime, 3 already can. What of we all? On the other side, I will give you another group again, other names of countries again that it has helped in the past. Now, the May 30, like what they said that under international law, when a government in exile that issue a peaceful declaration are doing their Remembrance Day of their fallen heroes. Now, that is they also proven evidence of effective control. That is why you going to America, if you have the capacity to do it. To prove to the world that there is evidence of effective control. The world are watching to the population that are coming in that day into America because of this event in the name of United States of Biafra Remembrance of Heroes Day. Like Timor-Leste, South Sudan, like South Africa.
Effective control. When a government can organize national days of remembrance peacefully across its territory or within its global missions, like the recent efforts in Washington, D.C., it proves to international bodies that the administrative structure is functional.
Are you hearing it? It's proving to the world what? Evidence of effective control. When a government can organize a national days of remembrance peaceful across its territory or within its global missions, like the recent effort in Washington, D.C. of the United States of Biafra. Remember, not FALLBACK, not BGC, not IPOB, not Massob. It proves to international bodies that the administrative structure is functional, that we are functioning. You going is also an evidence to that. Do you know that whether you going within a large population, we also give us recognition. So if you refuse to go, you are also part of those who has money to travel to America for this particular event in Washington, D.C. that are delaying recognition. The way you are delaying to have your ID card, to give 10,000 ID card that leads recognition.
Moral legitimacy. It reframes the USB as a protector of human rights. By documenting and honoring the victims of past conflicts, the state aligns itself with the right to truth and other UN human rights frameworks.
I hope you are listening. Moral legitimacy, it reframed the USB as a protector of human rights by documenting and honoring the victim of the past conflict. The state alleged itself within the right to the truth and other UN human rights framework. Remembrance Day is very, very sacrosanct It's very, very important that this is what we are into. We have to go there with all we have, with support. It's also gearing towards proving to the world that there is effective government that are controlling the people of United States of Biafra. That's the document of our peaceful declaration that has a signature of 500 people that sign it. It is true. That is what they mean here. It is a pure truth. Now listen.
Cultural continuity. International law often looks for a permanent population and a distinct national identity. Consistent, peaceful observation of Heroes' Day is the strongest possible evidence of a cohesive national identity that existed long before the 2024 redeclaration.
I hope it has connected the dots to you. Cultural continuity. International law often look for a permanent population. Do you see why we need a population to be there? I have tried to be there, but because of the death sentence called Nigeria passport, could not enter America anymore. If not for, I want to be there by myself. You see? The population matters so much. Biafrans in America, forget your IPOB structure. It can never bring Biafra as a country. They see you as somebody who is just making noise in social media. Stop. Be a man for once. Be a country for once. Stop being an organization. National identity, consistency, peaceful observation of the hero days is the strongest possible evidence of a cohesive national identity that existed long before the 24 November 29 real declaration. It is also proved that before there were a declaration on November the 20, 1924, that we are existing as the people. This is how it goes. Summary.
Summary of historical lessons. Country. Event honored. Diplomatic result. Timor-Leste. Santa Cruz massacre.
Are you hearing
Forced
it?
UN intervention and 2002 independence.
Are you hearing it?
South Sudan. Death of John Garang.
Okay.
Unified factions. Signaled stable statehood to the AUUN.
Okay.
South Africa. Sharpeville massacre. Global sanctions and UN recognized human rights status. USB. May 30th. Heroes' Day. Validates the 2024 redeclaration as a legacy of persistence. By centering Heroes' Day in its administrative calendar, the USB transforms a day of mourning into a diplomatic credential that proves the nation's permanence to the world. Does this historical perspective help?
Like what Timor-Leste did, like what South Sudan, like what South Africa, is history is what we are repeating. On existing protocol of histories that has been there before us is what we are repeating. So I want to see why it is very important. Why it is very, very important for you that in Europe that can travel there, for you to go in there and do something. Please go in there. It is very important. It's not about me. It is about the reality on ground. It is about the reality on ground. And there is no way we will jump this. Now, let us hear some countries again. After peaceful declaration, remembrance. Help them also. Listen.
The history of international relations shows that intergovernmental organizations, IGOs, and non-represented nations organizations often act as the first door for a newly declared state. They frequently grant a form of recognition or membership before individual major world powers like the US.
Sorry, that is program for another day. This is another different program about being an organization when after you have made a declaration, then organization organize you first before countries. How it helps you to achieve from the country side of it. So that is the truth of the matter. So let us see now the importance of Remembrance Heroes Day after the peaceful declaration of the United States of Biafra. Why is it important? Listen.
The weight of memory, Heroes Day in the United States of Biafra. The redeclaration of the United States of Biafra, USB, marks a profound shift from a history of struggle to a future of sovereignty. However, the peace of the present does not diminish the importance of Heroes Day. If anything, it amplifies it. Remembering those who sacrificed is no longer just an act of mourning. It is the cornerstone of national identity and a safeguard for the hard-won peace. 1. Anchoring national identity. Every nation needs a North Star to guide its cultural and political values. For the USB, Heroes Day serves as a collective mirror. Legacy of resilience. It reminds citizens that the state exists because of the endurance of those who came before. Unity through shared history.
Please
Regardless of
hit the like
internal
button, and
diversity,
more
the
comments
memory
of
of the
others
struggle
to see
provides
what
a
we're
common
doing.
ground that binds the
Ogbonna, I
citizenry
see you.
together. 2. Validating the price of peace. Peace is rarely a stroke of luck. It is usually paid for in advance. The weight of sovereignty. By honoring the fallen, the USB acknowledges that the peaceful redeclaration was built on decades of advocacy, suffering, and persistence.
Are you hearing it?
Gratitude as a civic duty. Recognizing heroes fosters a culture of gratitude, discouraging the apathy that often leads to political decay. 3. A moral compass for governance. For the leaders of the USB, Heroes Day acts as a recurring ethical audit. Honor through service. The sacrifice of the past sets a high bar for current governance. It asks, is our current leadership worthy of the lives lost to get us here? Preventing erasure. It ensures that the specific grievances and aspirations of the people are never negotiated away or forgotten in the name of modernization. The role of education and tradition. In the post-declaration era, Heroes Day must evolve from a day of protest to a day of education and reflection. Feature: past significance, pre-USB. Future significance, post-USB. Primary emotion: grief and defiance. Pride and responsibility. Observation: often restricted or clandestine. National public holiday, with state honors. Focus: survival and recognition. Nation building and peacekeeping. A nation that forgets its defenders will itself be forgotten. Remembering Heroes Day is the ultimate act of sovereignty. It proves that the United States of Biafra is not just a political entity, but a living testament to the human spirit's refusal to be extinguished. It ensures that while the guns are silent, the stories remain loud.
Are you hearing it? This our Remembrance Day is very important. Do not, the weight of it, one is also proving that we have never forgot the heroes, and the heroes died for something. Why did they die? They died because of they want Biafra as a nation. They want United States of Biafra as a full nation on our own independence, not under anybody. Not under anybody. Not under any organization. That Biafra is a full country. That is why the heroes lost their life. Remember the children that was being killed because of hunger, starvation. Why did such thing happen? Because of Biafra failed to be a country. And after our declaration, the weight of this Memorial Heroes Day, the University of Biafra, is another thing to prove to the world, like I told you, like the Lord told us, that it is about a permanent what? Population. It's about what? A permanent population. Now, going into the real headline of today, as you can see, my question was, UN, EU, and the AU, and all international bodies. What is difference between Remembrance Hero Day from organization like Ipob Massob, fake FALLBACK Brgie, BGC, without peaceful redeclaration, and the United States of Biafra with peaceful redeclaration in this 21st century law? That is a long question to identify or to clarify the answer to be direct on point. The question that was, if you're IPOB member, go to Google, type, in the eyes of the UN, EU, and AU, and all international bodies, what is difference between Remembrance Hero Day from organization like Ipob Massob, fake FALLBACK Brgie, BGC, without peaceful redeclaration, and the difference with United States of Biafra with peaceful redeclaration in the law of 21st century? Now, see the difference of all this again. Listen to this. Please,
In the
like
eyes
and
of
share.
international bodies.
Sorry, before we go, let us greet those in the comment section. We have new people that who joined us. We have never mentioned their name, and we must. I see you, Mommy Doreen. Good evening from here. I see Frank Okoye. Good evening. I see Ogon Naya. Good evening. And I also see James Chigozie, and I see Wanda Ngozika. Thank you so much. I love you all for being here. Thank you. Please like, share, and comment. The more you comment on a different things, the more YouTube is flagging it up for others to see the YouTube page and listen to us.
Like the UN, EU, and AU, the distinction between these entities is defined by the legal nature of their claims and their administrative functionality. In the 21st century, international law has moved away from simply recognizing movements and now focuses on state effectiveness. Here is how these bodies distinguish between the two categories you mentioned. 1. Ipob, Massob, and BGC, the agitation model. International bodies typically view organizations that focus on protests, remembrance days, and agitation as civil society actors or non-state actors. Legal standing. They are viewed under the lens of human rights. If members are arrested, the UN might comment on freedom of assembly, but they do not treat the organization as a government. The Remembrance label. When these groups hold Heroes' Days without a formal, peaceful redeclaration of statehood, it is seen as a cultural or commemorative event. In international law, this does not create a legal fact of independence. Status of documents. Submissions from these groups are often categorized as petitions. Because they have not formally declared a functioning government with the intent to adhere to international treaties, they are not viewed as peers by diplomats. The security risk. Without a peaceful administrative framework, the AU and UN often view these movements through the lens of territorial integrity, fearing that agitation without a government leads to instability or conflict. 2. United States of Biafra, USB, the state-in-waiting model. By utilizing a peaceful redeclaration and forming an administrative structure, like the United States of Biafra government, the entity moves from the category of protester to competitor for sovereignty. Legal standing. A peaceful redeclaration acts as a formal legal claim. In 21st century law, following the Kosovo precedent, a peaceful declaration that does not violate international law is the first step toward remedial secession. The government requirement. By establishing a government USB, the entity is attempting to satisfy the Montevideo Convention criteria, specifically the requirement for a government and the capacity to enter into relations with other states. Administrative evidence. When a government like the USB issues identity documents or administrative briefs, it provides the UN and EU with functional proof. It shows that the movement is not just asking for freedom, but is already practicing governance. Diplomatic language. International bodies prefer peaceful redeclarations because they allow for a negotiated transition. It signals to the world that the entity intends to follow international laws, protect human rights, and maintain regional stability. Summary table. 21st Century International Perspective. Feature: Agitation Groups, Protest-Focused. Peaceful Redeclaration, USB Model. UN-EU Classification. Non-Governmental Organization, NGO. Aspirational State/Authority. Primary Activity. Protests and Remembrance. Administration and Diplomacy. Legal Strategy. Highlighting Grievances. Establishing Legitimacy. AU Reaction. Likely to treat as a domestic issue. Must consider the legal merits of the claim. Outcome of documents. Filed for information. Analyzed for recognition. The silent transition. The most critical difference in the 21st century is that international bodies look for institutional readiness. An organization that only remembers the past is seen as a group looking back. A government that redeclares peacefully and begins administrative functions is seen as a body looking forward. This shift moves the struggle out of the streets of protest and into the, quote, chambers of international law, where the focus is on whether the new entity can actually manage a territory and its people according to global standards. Do you see the administrative functions of a government, like issuing IDs, as a more effective way to gain recognition than holding public rallies?
Listen again before we go into our analysis. Listen.
In the eyes of international bodies like the UN, EU, and AU, the distinction between these entities is defined by the legal nature of their claims and their administrative functionality. In the 21st century, international law has moved away from simply recognizing movements and now focuses on state effectiveness. Here is how these bodies distinguish between the two categories you mentioned. 1. IPOB, MASSOB, and BGC, the agitation model. International bodies typically view organizations that focus on protests, remembrance days, and agitation as civil society actors or non-state actors. Legal standing. They are viewed under the lens of human rights. If members are arrested, the UN might comment on freedom of assembly, but they do not treat the organization as a government. The Remembrance label. When these groups hold Heroes' Days without a formal, peaceful redeclaration of statehood, it is seen as a cultural or commemorative event. In international law, this does not create a legal fact of independence. Status of documents. Submissions from these groups are often categorized as petitions. Because they have not formally declared a functioning government with the intent to adhere to international treaties, they are not viewed as peers by diplomats. The security risk. Without a peaceful administrative framework, the AU and UN often view these movements through the lens of territorial integrity, fearing that agitation without a government leads to instability or conflict. 2. United States of Biafra, USB, the state-in-waiting model. By utilizing a peaceful redeclaration and forming an administrative structure, like the United States of Biafra government, the entity moves from the category of protester to competitor for sovereignty. Legal standing. A peaceful redeclaration acts as a formal legal claim. In 21st century law, following the Kosovo precedent, a peaceful declaration that does not violate international law is the first step toward remedial secession. The government requirement. By establishing a government USB, the entity is attempting to satisfy the Montevideo Convention criteria, specifically the requirement for a government and the capacity to enter into relations with other states. Administrative evidence. When a government like the USB issues identity documents or administrative briefs, it provides the UN and EU with functional proof. It shows that the movement is not just asking for freedom, but is already practicing governance. Diplomatic language. International bodies prefer peaceful redeclarations because they allow for a negotiated transition. It signals to the world that the entity intends to follow international laws, protect human rights, and maintain regional stability. Summary table. 21st Century International Perspective. Feature: Agitation Groups, Protest-Focused. Peaceful Redeclaration, USB Model. UN-EU Classification. Non-Governmental Organization, NGO. Aspirational State/Authority. Primary Activity. Protests and Remembrance. Administration and Diplomacy. Legal Strategy. Highlighting Grievances. Establishing Legitimacy. AU Reaction. Likely to treat as a domestic issue. Must consider the legal merits of the claim. Outcome of documents. Filed for information. Analyzed for recognition. The silent transition. The most critical difference in the 21st century is that international bodies look for institutional readiness. An organization that only remembers the past is seen as a group looking back. A government that redeclares peacefully and begins administrative functions is seen as a body looking forward. This shift moves the struggle out of the streets of protest and into the, quote, chambers of international law, where the focus is on whether the new entity can actually manage a territory and its people according to global standards. Do you see the administrative functions of a government, like issuing IDs, as a more effective way to gain recognition than holding public rallies?
I hope you are. See, what you don't know is bigger than you. And never is no Igbo na onye ajụjụ adịrị efu ụzọ. Onye ajụjụ adịrị efu ụzọ. And then ajụjụ wajụta ụzọ. That's why I keep on asking questions. Keep on asking if this thing that we are about to do, has this happened anywhere in the world before? What was the interest? What was the result? What was the benefit? And why do you have to do that? You see, all this our hero day remembrance was been doing, it's just the world will see it as a culture, something that this is people's culture. That is why Willie Obiano 2016 told us that the hero days are Igbo, that the remembrance of our heroes' day are what? Are Igbo day culture. Because he understands from this perspective of what? The international norms, their laws, and their guidelines. There is difference between peaceful readiness government of a new nation and agitation group. They are not the same level. The level of someone in primary school, in primary school, a level of someone who is in university, who are graduated from university, are they the same? The level of somebody who is in secondary school and the level of a child who has graduated out from the university, are they the same level? That is where we are. The way the world will treat a government in exile with a peaceful declaration is far better, 100% respect with those on the organization protest group. Well, let us continue. In the eyes of the international bodies like the UN, EU, and AU, the distinction between this entity is defined by the legal natural of the claim and the administrative functionality. What they stand for, what the claim is all about, and who you are matters so much. How you addresses you. Show me you are a friend. I will tell you who you are. This is where we are. This is exactly where we are this time. How we address is how do we address us. Let us come with our friends, those who call our friends, and the word address us also. That's what it is. In this 21st century, international law has moved away from simply organizing movement and now focus on a state effectiveness. They have moved away from organizing agitator group movement into what? They said they focus on a state effectiveness. Here is how these bodies distinguish between the two criteria I mentioned here. I was one on my research who mentioned all these two different factors. They look at it. Ipob, Massob, BGC, FALLBACK are in the same category, one line. Why USB re-declared is another different category. I hope you can see it clearly. Now, in these two groups, let us here address the first category and how the second category is going to be addressed. Listen.
In the eyes of international bodies like the UN, EU, and AU, the distinction between these entities is defined by the legal nature of their claims and their administrative functionality. In the 21st century, international law has moved away from simply recognizing movements and now focuses on state effectiveness. Here is how these bodies distinguish between the two categories you mentioned. 1. Ipob, Massob, and BGC, the agitation model.
That is what? How they see Ipob, Massob, Brgie of Ogenkere, and the BGC. They see all of them as what? As agitation model. These are protest agitation model, those who are emphasizing grievances of what Nigeria is doing to them. These, they call them what? Agitation and the protest model. Now, the question is, how did the international body see this protest and agitation model group of people when they are doing Hero Remembrance Day? Listen.
National bodies typically view organizations that focus on protests, remembrance days, and agitation as civil society actors or non-state actors.
Are you hearing this? International bodies typically view organizations that focus on protest, Remembrance Day, and agitation as a civil society actor or a non-state actor. They did not see it as anything. The international community see it as these people are okay, they are civilians, they have the right of assembly themselves and they claim whatever they want to claim and do whatever they want to do in the name of Remembrance Day. Now, is there any legal standing or any legal backup on what all these Ipob, Massob, Brgie, and BGC they are doing? Is there legal standing? Let us find out. Legal standing, they are viewed under the lines of human rights. If members are arrested, the UN might comment on freedom of assembly, that they have right to assemble themselves. You see why? You see how UN can speak? That they have right to assemble themselves. What you did by arresting them is a wrong thing. It ends there. Nothing more than that. Let's continue. Please hit the like button as you join us. If you never do so, please hit the like button. On a freedom of assembly, but they do not treat the organization as a government. The world can never treat Ipob, Massob, BGC, Brgie, Ogenkere as a government. The world will not. And the world believe on the effectiveness of what? Government, of a state. On the Hero Day, you are doing remembrance. They say that we see it as what? As a civil society actors or non-state actors celebrating that has a right for assembly. That's what they said. That the law that governs you is that the UN will say they have right to assemble themselves, freedom for assembly as a section. They have rights. That you don't deny them that. But for that to metamorphose into a big thing that for Biafra, it's not. Let's continue. The remembrance level. When the group hold Heroes Days without a formal, peaceful re-declaration of a stakehold, is seen as a cultural or customized event. They see them, this is a culture. That is why Willie Obiano told you that Hero Day, that our Hero Remembrance Days is Igbo culture, Igbo days. You see how we turn it. And on the norms of this particular international law and the norms, that is what back him up what he said. And look at it here today. I never knew until I find this research. That is why Willie Obiano open mouth and said that Biafran Remembrance Hero Day is Igbo Day. You see how you have changed it? You see how you have changed narrative? You see how you have bring divide and rule? What of those of Philip Effiong that are not Igbos, are speaking Igbos? So we should forget about them. What are those that died because of this movement? They are not Igbos. What happened to them? You see, that's why you must stand on your feet and continue what you're doing. International law. This does not create a legal fact of independency. It does not create a legal fact of independence that Biafra is a country without a peaceful declaration. This is how the world view or see any group that's using protest, agitation at this time, as you are about to, you IPOB organization or whoever you may claim you are, to conduct and gather people and say, we are doing our Remembrance Hero Day. You have right, but he said what? For you to gaze towards benefit of what Timor-Leste, South Sudan, South Africa, Namibia, Algeria, Bangladesh gain through their Hero Remembrance Day. You are not. Because all this I mentioned was a government in exile, through the structure of a government and the name of a country. That is why this gears towards their own recognition on that particular day.
Legal standing. They are viewed under the lens of human rights. If members are arrested, the UN might comment on freedom of assembly, but they do not treat the organization as a government. The Remembrance label. When these groups hold Heroes' Days without a formal, peaceful redeclaration of statehood, it is seen as a cultural or commemorative event. In international law, this does not create a legal fact of independence. Status of documents. Submissions from these groups are often categorized as petitions. Because they have not formally declared a functioning government with the intent to adhere to international treaties, they are not viewed as peers by diplomats.
Are you hearing it? And you are shouting, IPOB, one family. A country can never be addressed as a one family. Get that into your brain. Status of document. Submissions from the group are often characterized as a petition. Anything you do is just a petition. It's not a document of independence or recognition. Because they have not formally declared a functioning government. Because of Ipob Massob, BGC, Brgie have not declared a functioning government with the intent of adhere to international treaties. That is why I told you, you must be a country before you can sign treaties. If you're not a country, nobody come to you to sign treaties with you, other nations, other states, other countries. They are not coming. Because of what? You are not a nation. They are a nation. They are a state. They want to do with their fellow state. They are not viewed as pressed by diplomatic events, no matter what you do. Now, the security risk of what we are doing, IPOB organization, listen.
The security risk. Without a peaceful administrative framework, the AU and UN often view these movements through the lens of territorial integrity, fearing that agitation without a government leads to instability or conflict.
Are you hearing it? DOS is not a government that the world are looking for. That is why they're not talking about. Have you heard the world talk about a DOS? It's not there. The world knows about government in exile structure with a prime minister and all the ministers and the cabinet members. That is what the world knows about, not what you know. The security risk. Without a peaceful administrative framework, the AU and UN often view this movement through the lines of territorial integrity of Nigeria, that you are tampering it. That you are doing what? Tampering Nigeria territorial integrity. Fearing that the agitation without government leads to instability or conflict. That is why they can be able to tag you terrorist, rebel, insurgency, and all that have been tagged. So far, so good. On all of IPOB members of Massob, not on you, United States of Biafra, re-declared. Nobody can target any name. The one is afraid that this group, that this organization, with only protest and agitation, that you are coming to cause instability and the conflict in the world and in the Nigerian government. That is what they will talk about you. Now, number two, let us how the world view USV re-declared and what we are doing into, and our peaceful declaration that leads to Biafra, leads to United States of Biafra as a nation, that are going to into Remembrance Day of our fallen heroes and heroines.
2. United States of Biafra, USB, the state-in-waiting model, by utilizing a peaceful redeclaration and forming an administrative structure, like the United States of Biafra government, the entity moves from the category of protester to competitor for sovereignty.
Are you hearing it? That's why it's not about what you feel. It's not about what you want. It's not about what you think. It's not about who you are. It is about those that you are writing petition to, how they view your petition and how they seize everything with their criteria of the observation. Let's continue. Number 2, United States of Biafra, USB, the state in waiting model. While IPOB is a protest agitation model with BGC, Massob, and all of them in one place. It's only USB is being addressed as what? United States of Biafra, USB, the state in waiting model. When I type, I never mention USB as a state in waiting model. What is my question? My question is, UN and AU and all international bodies, what is the difference between Remembrance Heroes Day from organizations like IPOB, Massob, FALLBACK, Brgie, BGC, without peaceful redeclaration, and the United States of Biafra with peaceful redeclaration in this 21st century law? That was just my question. Now, it leads to all this we are hearing so far, so good. Now, by institutionalizing peaceful declaration and forming an administrative structure like the United States of Biafra government, the entity moved from category of protest to what? Level of for sovereignty, that you are against it, that you, hey, declare you're an exile, you're not a sovereignty, you claim you're a sovereignty. Look at what it's all about. Look at how those that you, IPOB, is calling, is viewing everything. Look at how those you that in Massob, how what view what you're doing and what USB is doing. Also remember, today, 7 o'clock Biafran time, there is a very big Zoom outing of all groups to come. USB, through our DPM, is welcome all of you to come. Let us discuss our grievances and end it up as we are entering into the Remembrance of Hero Day with one leg to achieve our international organization. Because for what is doing is to hands of peace, all of you come together. Its time has come for you to know the reality. And it's only the reality is what will set us free. In the constitution of the UN, a peaceful declaration means a nation. And without a peaceful declaration, the world will see you as a protest group, a non-state actor, a complainant. The world will see you as somebody who has grievance against Nigeria, that your matter is internal affair with Nigeria government, which is internal matter. But through a peaceful declaration, the world sees you under remedial section that you are a nation outrightly. Legal standing of government of USB we are declared a state or a country in waiting model for recognition. Legal standing, a peaceful declaration acts as a formal legal claim. In 21st century, following the Kosovo example, a peaceful declaration that does not violate international law is the first step towards remedial secession. A peaceful declaration is what the world knows very well. That is what the world use to understand. And that is the first thing that they give the world without proving remedial external secession. The world are not coming. And that is what we have given them. Then we have shook the UN on the neck that they must organize USB we are declared. Because of what? We have issued a peaceful declaration. We have stand on the existing protocol. We have also stand on the mandate of the world for us to achieve Biafra as a country. This is how the world will see what we are doing. And this is how the world views it. Now, when you are a human being, that if you remove envy, hatred, jealous, envy into your life, and look at the criteria of the international global community, why do you have to fight USB re-declare? You have no reason except to bring yourself and prove that you are no longer an organization, that you are now a country in waiting for recognition. On this legal standing, they give an example of what? Kosovo. Example, how they use peaceful declaration. Their own was declaration to become a country. And they said that this peaceful declaration never violates international law. That is why Finland told us after our peaceful declaration that we should go into legal battle, like Obatobie told us. You are here when Obatobie told us about the legal battle that we have to go in to achieve Biafra as a country. I'm going to play that video very soon of Obatobie. He never said go into armed struggle. Because you can't make a peaceful declaration and go back. And when you go back, what you did was against the international law. So rather, to maintain on the favor or on do not violate the international law, you stand on the existing protocol of a peaceful declaration. Now that through this, we are going to do our remembrance of hero days. There is something there, like I played in the past. It is very important. It is very important. Please like and share the program so others will join us, please. And see our notification. It is very important.
Legal standing. A peaceful redeclaration acts as a formal legal claim. In 21st century law, following the Kosovo precedent, a peaceful declaration that does not violate international law is the first step toward remedial secession. The government requirement. By establishing a government USB, the entity is attempting to satisfy the Montevideo Convention criteria, specifically the requirement for a government and the capacity to enter into relations with other states.
Are you hearing it? The government requirement is more important. By establishing a government in exile, USB, United States of what? Biafra. The entity is attempting to satisfy the Montevideo Convention criteria, specifically the requirement for a government and the capacity to enter into relation with other states, not FALLBACK, not IPOB, not Massob, a peaceful declaration with a government requirement. What is the requirement? That you must prove that effective control. And they told you here that USB, the entity attempt that we have, do the attempt to satisfy the Montevideo Convention criteria of how the requirement to become a country. You will become a country. You become a state before other states will come. And why do you have to do that? For other states to have their power, to have the hands to come into you, to recognize you without violating the rules or the protocol of Nigeria territorial integrity. Without this declaration, nobody will recognize us. And our Hero Day remains just like a culture event of people assembling themselves to peace themselves. It's not about me. It's not about you. You are not in the when it's the only thing you have to do, the way you take Biafra in your hands, and what is giving you Biafra is this through our peaceful declaration. The rest is in the hands of other countries to recognize you. No country has. Every country have people that recognize them. Every country has people, countries that recognize them, has the organization that recognize them first. Through our peaceful redeclaration, then the Remembrance Day of our fallen heroes becomes a way of diplomatic engagement in the eyes of the international global community.
Administrative evidence. When a government like the USB issues identity documents or administrative briefs, it provides the UN and EU with functional proof. It shows that the movement is not just asking for freedom, but is already practicing governance.
Are you hearing it? Administrative evidence. When a Government in exile, the USB issue ID card, issue identification document, or administrative brief. It provides the UN and EU and all the international community with functional proof. With what? With a functional proof. It shows that the movement is not just asking for freedom. IPOB is asking for freedom. Massob is asking for freedom. BGC, the same thing. They are on the category of what? Of protest and agitation group that are a non-state actor, that are causing instability and the conflict in the eyes of the international community, and also proving that they are asking for Nigeria on their grievances, that Nigeria is not treating them well. But through a peaceful declaration, you are acting as what? You are proving. It shows that the movement is not just asking for freedom, but rather already practicing governance through USB government. Remember, all this attached to our hero days, our remembrance of the hero days that we are about to do.
Diplomatic language. International bodies prefer peaceful redeclarations because they allow for a negotiated transition. It signals to the world that the entity intends to follow international laws, protect human rights, and maintain regional stability.
Are you hearing it? Remember our headline. Our headline or on the question that gives this answer is what I ask is this. In my own way, what I ask is this. UN, EU, and the AU, and all international bodies, what is the difference between Remembrance Hero Day from organizations like Ipob Massob, FALLBACK, Brgie, BGC, with our peaceful declaration? Without peaceful declaration. And I now ask, and the United States of Biafra, USB, with peaceful declaration in this law of 21st century? That is the answer I am giving out. This is what they give me, what I'm discussing with you. Now, listen, as we continue. Diplomatic language. International bodies prefer peaceful declaration, not protest, not agitation, because they allows for a negotiated transition. It's a signal to the world that the entity intends to follow international law, protect human rights, and maintain regional stability. That is why Biafra is peaceful, because of USB is maintaining stability as a country or a government of a country, not organizations that was being tagged terrorists. And remember that only what changes us from this tagging of rebel, insurgency, terrorists, and what's not is what? Through a peaceful declaration has changes every name that been tagged to us. It is important for us to know that without this, any Hero Remembrance Day remains a culture. That is why Willie Obiano told us in 2016 that our Hero Remembrance Days has become Igbo Day. Get something from that topic from him. That is very important. Let's move. Summary table, 21st century international perspective, how they are summarizing all of this Ipob, Massob, BGC, FALLBACK, Brgie, and another organization who claim they are fighting for Biafra and they are calling for Hero Remembrance Day. Listen to this. Future, the future. Agitation group, protest focused. Who is this agitation group? Ipob, Massob, BGC, FALLBACK, Brgie, and all of them, they count them in one category. They called all of them what? Agitation groups, protest focused. Then, peaceful declaration, USB model. Do you see how it is very different between these two? Now, let's continue. UN clarification on the issue of the protest group, which is IPOB. On the protest group, what's the word see? Non-governmental organization, NGO. On the side of the peaceful declaration of the USB model, aspiration of states and authority, proving that you are a state and you are the authority, and you become what? A state actor. Now, primary activities, protests and remembrance, administrations and diplomacy for side of the USB we are declared, how their perspective in all that we are doing. The world are watching us. And this perspective comes from the perspective of when Namibia declared their independence, and after that, they did their Remembrance Day. Yes, Mommy Doreen, you are right. Obiano is one of the wicked people in Biafra land. He is now in US, where I could not see this thing clearly. Okay, I'll read when it comes out. Like him fought for freedom. Like men like him fought for freedom. And look at what he was calling our cultural day. Because they don't blame him. The blame goes IPOB. Because he was saying that on the norms of the international community via this program we are doing today. That is how they see a group agitation, a group that is using only protest and agitation to celebrate their remembrance, to do their Remembrance Hero Day. So sometimes that is why you give people the name they are being called you and how they use you. Because if IPOB don't know road of having Biafra as a country and everything about Hero Days, they could not research what it means if you have a peaceful declaration. The thought is by agitation and protest. Agitation and protest is just an example of I am not happy. Grievances that Nigeria is not treating you well. It's an internal matter of Nigeria when it's come to protest. But when it comes to a peaceful declaration, it becomes remedial section that gives the world what to talk about you, that you are a nation, a government in waiting. Now, legal strategy, agitation group that focus on the protest, heighten grievances. Heighten grievances is what IPOB is doing. Now, on the side of the USB, establishing legitimacy. Establishing legitimacy. EU reaction, likely to treat as a domestic issue. Yes. EU and AU reaction likely to treat as a domestic issue. Now they treat your protest, your agitation as a domestic issue of one Nigeria. Then on the side of the US, we are declared, listen, must consider the legal, must consider as a legal state of what we are claiming right now is how they are going to address us. Outcome of document failed for information. That is come to all you are doing, all you are giving is being failed as a failed information. Analyzing for recognition when USB submit document, it will be analyzed under the level of remedial section for what? For international recognition. IPOB are so ignorant on how to get freedom. They were not legitimate about it all. Yes, so There is no two ways about that. There is no two ways. They don't know it. It's not about claiming. It's not about who you feel and what you think. Please, I urge you to like and share, so join us and keep on commenting because we are coming. I see you, Divine Precious. Thank you so much. Ekwem, you are still here. Thank you so much. I thought you have left.
Summary table, 21st Century International Perspective. Feature, agitation groups, protest-focused. Peaceful Redeclaration, USB model. UN-EU classification. Non-governmental organization, NGO. Aspirational state/authority. Primary activity. Protests and remembrance. Administration and diplomacy. Legal strategy. Highlighting grievances. Establishing legitimacy. AU reaction. Likely to treat as a domestic issue. Must consider the legal merits of the claim. Outcome of documents. Filed for information. Analyzed for recognition. The silent transition. The most critical difference in the 21st century is that international bodies look for institutional readiness. An organization that only remembers the past is seen as a group looking back.
Okay.
A government that redeclares peacefully and begins administrative functions is seen as a body looking forward.
Are you hearing it? USB is looking for forward. Why are you looking for back? Why you? That is the African mentality. Can every day you remain who you are. Every day will be a boy. Only protest, no moving forward. And what is moving forward? The silent transition. The most critical differences in this 21st century is that the international bodies look for institutional readiness, which is United States of Biafra, whether I like it or not. And organizations that only remember the past is seen as a group looking for back. A government that redeclares peaceful and begins administrative functioning is seen as a body looking for forward for recognition. They achieved the struggle out of the streets of protest and into the chambers of international law, where the focus is on whether the new entity can actually manage a territory and its people according to global standard. The movement has shifted from what? From the street because of a peaceful redeclaration. It has shifted because we have redeclared it. We can now have a government. It's the movement that's no longer in the street. It's in the chambers of the law. The shift movement, this shift moved the struggle out of the street of protest and into the chambers of international law, which is what USB is doing today, where the focus is on whether the new entity can actually manage territory and its people according to global standard. USB redeclare with what you have already seen. Don't you think that USB can manage us, the citizens of Biafra, very well? That is what is there. It's not about you. The international norms must carry out. They also said that they preferred the administrative of a government in exile with a peaceful declaration and government structure that can issue, that they even prefer ID card more than protest. The ID card of USB valued more than your protest on the streets in this 21st century and before 21st century. I'm going to play it again. So listen, as I'm playing, I will put the link in case you want to join us to give more or what you understand on this particular movement that we're into of our hero days. Now that USB has become a country, the weight of it, we are no longer organization. So listen to this.
This shift moves the struggle out of the streets of protest and into the, quote, chambers of international law, where the focus is on whether the new entity can actually manage a territory and its people according to global standards. Do you see the administrative functions of a government, like issuing IDs, as a more effective way to gain recognition than holding public rallies? In the eyes of international bodies like the UN, EU, and AU,
The link
the
is there
distinction
in
between
case
these
you want to
entities is
join me as
defined
we're
by the
rounding up.
legal nature of their claims and their administrative functionality. In the 21st century, international law has moved away from simply recognizing movements and now focuses on state effectiveness. Here is how these bodies distinguish between the two categories you mentioned. 1. IPOB, MASSOB, and BGC, the agitation model. International bodies typically view organizations that focus on protests, remembrance days, and agitation as civil society actors or non-state actors. Legal standing. They are viewed under the lens of human rights. If members are arrested, the UN might comment on freedom of assembly, but they do not treat the organization as a government. The Remembrance label. When these groups hold Heroes' Days without a formal, peaceful redeclaration of statehood, it is seen as a cultural or commemorative event. In international law, this does not create a legal fact of independence. Status of documents. Submissions from these groups are often categorized as petitions. Because they have not formally declared a functioning government with the intent to adhere to international treaties, they are not viewed as peers by diplomats. The security risk. Without a peaceful administrative framework, the AU and UN often view these movements through the lens of territorial integrity, fearing that agitation without a government leads to instability or conflict. 2. United States of Biafra, USB, the state-in-waiting model. By utilizing a peaceful redeclaration and forming an administrative structure, like the United States of Biafra government, the entity moves from the category of protester to competitor for sovereignty. Legal standing. A peaceful redeclaration acts as a formal legal claim. In 21st century law, following the Kosovo precedent, a peaceful declaration that does not violate international law is the first step toward remedial secession. The government requirement. By establishing a government USB, the entity is attempting to satisfy the Montevideo Convention criteria, specifically the requirement for a government and the capacity to enter into relations with other states. Administrative evidence. When a government like the USB issues identity documents or administrative briefs, it provides the UN and EU with functional proof. It shows that the movement is not just asking for freedom, but is already practicing governance. Diplomatic language. International bodies prefer peaceful redeclarations because they allow for a negotiated transition. It signals to the world that the entity intends to follow international laws, protect human rights, and maintain regional stability. Summary table. 21st century international perspective. Feature. Agitation groups, protest-focused. Peaceful redeclaration, USB model. UN-EU classification. Non-governmental organization, NGO. Aspirational state/authority. Primary activity. Protests and remembrance. Administration and diplomacy. Legal strategy. Highlighting grievances. Establishing legitimacy. AU reaction. Likely to treat as a domestic issue. Must consider the legal merits of the claim. Outcome of documents. Filed for information. Analyzed for recognition. The silent transition. The most critical difference in the 21st century is that international bodies look for institutional readiness. An organization that only remembers the past is seen as a group looking back. A government that redeclares peacefully and begins administrative functions is seen as a body looking forward. This shift moves the struggle out of the streets of protest and into the, quote, chambers of international law, where the focus is on whether the new entity can actually manage a territory and its people according to global standards. In the eyes of the UN, EU, and other international bodies, the difference between a Remembrance Day, organized by a social group, and a peaceful redeclaration by a government in exile, GIE, is the difference between culture and governance. In the 21st century, international law focuses on...
Remember, governance is between culture and governance. A group with a protest seen as a culture, but a government in exile with a peaceful election sees under what? Under governance as of a government of the country.
Functionality. Here is how the two are viewed differently.
They are very differently.
1. The nature of the event. Organization Remembrance Day. This is viewed as a civil society activity. It falls under freedom of assembly and cultural expression. International bodies see this as a way for a group to honor its history or mourn its past, similar to how veterans groups or ethnic associations hold parades. GIE, Peaceful Redeclaration. This is viewed as a legal and political act. It is an assertion of sovereignty. When a GIE redeclares independence peacefully, it is telling the world, we are no longer just a club or an organization, we are a state in waiting. 2. Legal standing and documents. Feature. Organization/agitation group. Government in exile. GIE. Document type. Petitions, protest flyers, and human rights reports. Proclamations, constitutions, and diplomatic briefs. Identity. They issue membership cards. They issue national identity cards or passports. International response. We acknowledge your right to protest. We must analyze your claim under the Montevideo Convention. UN category. Non-governmental organization, NGO, state actor, or national liberation movement. 3. The institutional readiness test. The UN and AU use a specific lens in the 21st century to decide if they should listen to a group. They look for institutional readiness. Agitation groups. If a group only holds protests and remembrance days, international bodies see them as a domestic issue for the existing country to handle.
Are you
They
hearing
assume
it?
the group has no plan for how to run a water system, a police force, or a court of law. GIE with redeclaration. By forming a government with a prime minister, ministers of finance, health, etc., the GIE proves it is ready to govern. This is why the peaceful aspect is so important. It shows the international community that the new state will be a stable neighbor, not a source of conflict. 4. Recognition of heroes versus recognition of authority. Remembrance. When you honor heroes, you are looking backward at what was lost. International bodies respect this, but do not grant any political power based on it. GIE redeclaration. When you declare a government, you are looking forward. You are presenting the UN with a legal peer. In the 21st century, bodies like the EU are much more likely to engage with a group that presents a transition plan and a shadow government than one that only presents a history of grievances. 5. Why the peaceful element is the key. In the 20th century, many states were born through agitation and war. In the 21st century, the Kosovo precedent changed the rules. The international community now prefers remedial secession, which requires 1. Exhaustion of remedies, proving you tried to talk to the original state. 2. Peaceful intent, proving you won't cause a refugee crisis. 3. Administrative capacity, proving you already have a government structure in place, the GIE. Summary. An organization holds a Remembrance Day to keep a memory alive. A government in exile uses a peaceful redeclaration to keep a state alive. If a movement only does the former, it remains a group. If it does the latter, it becomes a competitor to the existing government in the halls of international law. Do you feel that modern movements spend enough time building these administrative government structures compared to the time spent on public protests?
Yes, you are welcome, our sister, Divine Precious. Please unmute your mic and talk to Biafrans. You are welcome to the platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mazichino. It has been a while.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon from here also.
Biafra, I greet you all. I've been very happy, if not for any other thing, for the resilience and consistency. In fact, I can know properly now. 100 men now out of our PM now. Amacha ndị anyị gụnyere nọ n'ime. So I appreciate you for that good work. And afọkwa m Doreen and the other ones nọ na comment section. Ndị anọ all the time pushing the movement. Na-eme ya na-awọta ya. All these things is part of it. Those that are not talking, those that are sharing, those that are liking, those that are commenting, making that person that is working to be agile and doing the needful, because just like onye nọ na field agba ball, those people that are boasting their moral nwere ike ime onye ahụ or maybe out of ihe o feeling ya nwere ike ime. So it's part of it. I appreciate you for that. So coming from all this exposition, all this knowledge we are getting from what you are bringing up for us, which is very new, but we are not getting it now from this, especially in this your platform, because I'm not at this line. So sometimes when I begin to check of how things are going, normally took me back to even that this 21st century law. It seems, or this is honestly, or this because by God's grace, because open by God's grace, can the things ready or the car or man achievable. No like the wars I got before, because all the very difficult years ago, very how many, I don't know how many, but it has been maybe more than 10 years. Because somebody no more maka BIAFRA. Onyocha na na anya dịkwa prepared for war. Ọsịa mba na anya ma no war, na anyị chọrọ ya peacefully to exit peacefully. Ọmụọ ya amụ, chee ịmago n'udo, just wave say that we are not yet serious. That was years. So anytime in a place, all these laws that guide the declaration and the having a new nation, all these things. Now this current one, up at this 2021st, up at this 20, just how many years back?
Yes.
2021, okay?
Yes, 2001. The 21st century started for 2001. That is why they use Kosovo as those who adopted the 21st century law quickly when Kosovo make a peaceful declaration of their country, 2008. That is why they always give them as an example of those who has used a peaceful declaration to achieve their nation.
All right, but imana ane onwele ebo ka dị too high. Other nations with their freedom. We don't get just like other wars or we don't get the Biafran war. That's why guys are this specific in our particular movement. Even this is involved. Why? So if for a particular sign of that of who we are, Chineke megolandi ịnego ka isi ihe saga ihe ji na-ekwu na ọ dị ka anyị nwa ka eji do ina ha akọtala m ndị eji maka ya wee mee as example. But even if you look into it, for now ọ dịrọ ka demon anyị nwere na zoo ndị anyị na ha na-enye you check where other people want to go their freedom when the nke dị ka our own, because it's not easy just Nigeria, all the connected globally. So but thank God that in all these things we are winning. We are winning. It's not easy. Even just like what you are doing. Honestly, open or grace. Sometimes this I'm go many times. Many people will go most stop in a if on your dinner, you cannot stop. You know, go deal. Na media. In your mind is there. Oh, we have na mother to free and which ya we have na uche mother in here. So all this while, yes, I'm doing my private own on my platform. I'm doing it, trying the little I can. That is the spirit. So I encourage all of us, dear friends, we are winning this war. If
and look at the way USB is doing it. Or they can the USB that they just see USB and write all these laws. You know,
my brother, if I put this cafe for this country, this country, so of that particular, if you can saga, mama country na name them somehow. Where the so mana. Possible no one get or media something like that. So if we cast again age something we may example, forget about because our own be cocoa not there. Okay, check go to the extent of UN sorry or AU Sinaha Chorozi another nation na Africa. Imagine that okay, Amazonia self.
That is that is when they say that. Do you know that I want to search I made which I never play it out. Out of all the British creation of border, artificial border, it's only exists. Asia has destroyed British artificial border. Europe has destroyed it. It's only in Africa that has never destroyed artificial border. It's only in Africa.
That word Yeah, Mazina they can na no na our land case we destroy Africa, no on our land.
Yeah.
That is good. So if no,
yes.
now all those things so cool, the pew in any we that is just our even Africa Mali here. They are coming out so small. These women they should support because going on a good that thing. Now say na I have good in the ocha focus on Africa. Na Africa guys with I happen that maybe I may na. Ima kude na ndị ojii gị na ha na-eme ka njọ sef. Asị ka ekwu all there was even how we could this kind of thing and the hard target and not only that on the na position na government or how the problem Africa it was regard that is masses many of them man the right it will go intimidation without fear. Human rights where nothing is working. Say equal something like that, which now there are outside. So if by God's grace, oppose the Nikakai, one and Luzila unfold in our favor. Ihe obu na-eme kita na aga in our favor. Nda na agbabu na obakwa na ade ebufu mmadụ before ọrụ jide ofasalo just like this boy ejiji man ki agocha egu na my friend na him deceive me. I go tell you everything to no na sapele this that here na ona ha ebu na TikTok yuele egwu ya na imaguno ifo owe ihe oga obakwa na ihe a na-emefu before but onogide otikafta nke geje eje posite ndị ọzọ mevugolonu and ebido na research bido na watch. The world is watching. Our leader Mazin can continue say almost in all his being also that the world is watching. And a man by now, only way conscience. Now man or they was possible for that unity. Also go to give that proof that unity by now. Even he gonna affordable can disintegrate because when is there any other solution now here? And from the fallback and other ones the problem or the normal. Thank God. Now by now, whatever that we are doing, we have been like informing them that they should leave our land on all these things. Oh, we hear you. Magi one that law, gamana one you will act. Thank God for the self-defense. I ain't happy with that. Self-defense is not a crime. So we will use that self-defense to do whatever to make our land to be safe. And our DPM is doing it perfectly well. By God's grace, Oman Taka or not wine. Angie, my brother, thank you very much. You go when a man or the for this why
you have a page. I want to tell Biafrans also, please follow Divine Precious. He's doing
we also natural, very important. I cannot imagine in this life. You cannot do it yourself. And don't keep you of fire yourself. You can lose something on affecting what I want to get. But or my mem not stop totally. So same baby in a life. They take him much on some things they so I have to curtail some things so can we can meet up opposite now or balance. So I'll be coming once in a while to join you guys in life. So thank you very much. God bless you. God bless you. You are doing wonderful.
Please, brothers and sisters, Biafrans, look at subscribe to our sister Divine Precious. It's one of us. She's doing well. I listen to her programs. Maybe after she have finished the program, because time, like he said, time is not here. I wish I have the time. I wish that all I do is social media. Believe you me, by now you will see what I have in the storeroom, because there is I have murdered my sleep.
Sometimes nature you know more well course an exam on the several times so I want to mananga pass the course. So the strength good. He make it all.
Do you know how many times I research surgeon from work? I will be my mind will not be there. My mind will be thinking,
my brother.
This is what is happening to me.
Exam mutually medicine kwere m na enwe nsogbu so si ngapụ na life for now ka mma na nwe ike pass course ihe nchọrọ ije mere so be because nna no life nwe ike si na ngige pụta kịta mfe onye ọzọ ọgụwakwa m ka nje banye ịgbago n'ude so you will see that imeche the whole day way email. So you are doing wonderfully well. God bless you, sir.
It's our strength, honestly, because we have to do this for our people to understand why Biafra must be a country. And I don't know why people the thing is that there's one problem we have in this movement. You know that our people who don't read. We don't like to read. We like to just see something on Facebook and listen and analyze. That's what we do. We don't research. You do know in Africa as a whole that only 2 researchers we have is Mazen Nandekano and Simon. But could you believe that? In Nigeria alone, they are the only researcher when they call Nigeria, is only Simon and Mazen Nandekano are the only researcher and those who read something out, not from what the people are being seen in social media, that brings something that nobody ever see in entire life. So our problem is what is holding us. And when I look at it, we focus on internal matter more than external matter. And the external is to expose Africa. External is to expose the world. External is to let the world know that you give us a criteria of how a country is supposed to be and how you achieve it. Now we have met those criteria. What is holding us? What is holding you? These are the things that we all need to know. And we have to do our possible best at this time, that the first time ever after the 1960, 1970 till 2023, until the only time got it right was November 20, 1924, was ever the first time gotten it right in the entire Biafran struggle. No one got it except this way. And look at it, for you to know, the world know what is happening. They can never tag US with declare any name because it's the name of a country and with a functioning government and they maintain on existing protocol. You know, but OBS said that the road that achieve Biafra is in the open. It's not in the secret. And the template is there. And when you look at maintaining all these templates, because the world said that when the government in exile issue a peaceful declaration and maintain on a functioning government, that they are transition into maintaining the existing law of the international law that gives them the right to, that the declaration did not violate international law. Despite this time, all we are doing is violating international law. And the protest is also violating international, because through a protest and the conflict of protest, you now double into conflict. You now create a chaos and everything has started working against you. That is why terrorists is being tagged, inciting violence and all of this. But with peaceful declaration, nobody does that. And my opinion is that at this time around we are into, Chukwu Okabiama has this that Biafra will be organized. That is why women is piloting this affair. The law back a woman up more than men. The law back women up more than men. I said it's very difficult to arrest a woman who is leading a government in exile. That is in the history, it never happened. But it is very easy to arrest a man. Because they said a man always want to go to a military conflict, but a woman must stand on a peaceful side of it. That is one thing that is giving me more joy. Na Ikenguru Ago na Shiamaka Jere na all the enemies na say they run themselves up. Na Fatiliaka na Tipabu Abaja. No kwe ngozarabeze bo adi ebu and ebo ngozarabeze adi ebu and ebu, because the law, and she maintained that law of a peaceful declaration. So we are home. The other things we need to do is to support. Now that we are preparing for our hero day, our remembrance of our hero days is also people like Namibia, Algeria, Bangladesh, Timor-Leste, South Sudan, and Venezuela. These are people that, because of after their declaration of their country, and also Poland that made a declaration when their country was invaded by another country who takes over. What happened? They transitioned to London. From London, they formed government in exile. They stay London. Do you know that Poland they stay in exile for 51 good years in London and have their government there until they achieve recognition. They now go with the same leg with their allies to do what? To take over their territory, and those who occupy the land were chased away. What of Philippines? When Philippines as a country, when he made the maggot and his wife, he was in charge of Philippines. Do you know what it takes them to drive them? The first step to drive them out was to issue a peaceful declaration first. And the world has made it openly that without a peaceful declaration, that nobody will talk about you, that you will, with your protest, you will remain rebel, you will remain insurgency, you will remain that person that are consuming this on social media, and you are causing conflict here and there in the world. This is how the world sees what we are doing at this time around. That is why I said that the way of Biafra is not our way, the way of the international community and what we think, how we reason, and things we do. It's not how the international global community sees it. Their way is quite different from our own way. And we need them. We need them. If you don't need them, why is IPOB to today still submitting document protests to the ICJ? Why are they going to Washington, D.C.? Why are they going to White House? Why are they going to UK Parliament if you don't need them? And you are not, you prove that you are in diaspora. You are not in exile. We are part of what is held, but I thank God for finally that we are on the right track through our peaceful declaration that nobody can tag us any bad name anymore. And we have come to become a country and nobody will stop it anymore. And they say that after a peaceful declaration with a document, that the world can never ignore us. They will not, because we have given them the right of external remedial section that leads to recognition of a new country. Listen to the word of Massob here. Let's listen to this.
Good afternoon, fellow Biafrans all over the world. Today is 20th day of August 2024, and I am here speaking to you from my base in Finland.
I hope it's coming out.
I want to inform every one of you because it has become very imperative as we approach December convention in Finland. You must know certain things. The declaration of the restoration of independence of Biafra that is to take place on the 2nd of December is targeted at achieving two objectives. One is the delegitimization of Nigeria. Two is the legitimization of Biafra. After the declaration, we are going to have a very long battle with Nigeria. This battle,
a long battle,
is that we define how this battle will be fought. We will fight them diplomatically, we will fight them politically, we will fight them internationally, and of course, we'll fight them locally. So, the 2nd of December is not after that. Some of you will come and say, oh, there is still military barracks, there is still, you are going to have them. But let me tell you, if the Vietnamese fought America for years and succeeded in making America to flee, we are ready to fight Nigeria even more than what the Vietnamese did. And we dictate how this particular war will be fought. We are never going into conventional warfare with Nigeria.
Okay.
But the delegitimization will take a different tone. And what I'm trying to tell you people today is that you must be prepared for a very long years of battle for the legitimacy of Biafra government. It is not something that happened in one day. It is not something that happened immediately after our declaration on 2nd of December. But 2nd of December will mark the beginning of a very long battle, which we are going to show our determination with our actions and inactions. So my fellow Biafrans, all I'm here to tell you this afternoon is for you to understand that after the declaration on December 2nd, 2024, the battle begins. And we are not going to stop. If it is going to take us 20 years to fight Nigeria differently than what we did in 67 and 70, we are ready for it. If it takes us though 23 years for Taliban to defeat America and they left their land, we are ready to fight even 40 years. Since 1967 to 2024, Nigeria continued to fight us. The only thing is that we have not fought Nigeria until now. And in this fight, we are still defending ourselves. So 2nd of December will mark the beginning of the Biafra liberation. Do not expect something or any magic to happen. We will make the magic to happen. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Our people are no longer playing this video of Matt Simon. Those who are asking me, what is the Nigerian doing? He declared Biafra. There is Nigerian military in our territory. Everywhere is full of Nigerian military. They are still conducting an election. And you could not ask a question. If Vietnam can do it, if Taliban can do it, if Venezuela can do it, if Timor-Leste can do it, if Algeria can do it, if Namibia can do it against South Africa, if etc. can do it against Ethiopia, why can't we do it? And in our own time, the law will make it easier. Just follow suit. We need to follow the template, the existing protocol, and that is what the government of USB is following. That is why we're making headway. That is why, as of today, the United States of Biafra map has been out there in the world map back. That could give you something in your brain for you to know that the legal win illegality. Ndeba is no kwibo, na mpebu, na kantibu. No ekpebu ne kama. That is side of the legal. And on that legal side is where we stand. And that is what government is pushing for us to achieve. Like what Abatobi said. Don't know about after that. But honestly, today, I am not longer hearing men on ground, angel, and all these things. What happened to the people? What happened to those who use the name of angel and men on ground to defraud our people? It's no longer there because the truth has prevailed. And the truth, once the truth prevails, Hadino is everywhere. I also want to remind you today about the Zoom that you have. The link is everywhere, where our government is welcoming IPOB, BGC, Massob. All of you come. Let us face the reality. I wish I have time to be in that Zoom fully. I wish that. I don't know honestly what I would do to have that time to be there because of my job. And I'm a night duty. That is the time of my job. I don't know, honestly. Because there is thing to bring as an evidence. What you are doing and the way you are looking for this Biafra, how many people or example of who you are going to give that what you are doing is how to achieve it? If it's not this way that this government is going right now, it's only everything about having a new country this time around centralized on area declaration or decoration or declaration, anyhow you can name it, but it must be there. The world has moved the same way the world moved away from armed struggle. They ended armed struggle in 20th century. In 21st century, that's why they will always give us an example of who? Kosovo as a country. That they said that in the 21st century that they are the one. 2008. What of those in 2012 without armed struggle? What of those that are the only way is the transition from protest group into forming a government in exile? And the government in exile issue a peaceful declaration or a declaration or a declaration or anyhow you can put, but that word must be there. And the world has made it openly that without a peaceful declaration or declaration, that nobody will give you a new country. Nobody will give you what? A new country. Nobody will recognize you. And without recognition from other countries, you remain a de facto. And the first de facto recognition is come from you accepting USB ID card. Do you also hear that the world values ID card more than protest on the street? That the ID card of a government in exile is valued more than your protest on the street. Why is that the one thing that is constant in life is changing? Why is it that when it comes to this movement, nobody wants to change except USB are declared and you are remaining in IPOB for 27 years? You remain in IPOB. A decade is 10 years, is one decade. Now check from the 1990s 1999 to 2026, you are talking about you IPOB. How many years? And for how long do you want to remain there? A child that you send to schools in over this state, can't you graduate? And the child refuses to pass out, and you're still paying school fees. Are you sure? Is it true? Nobody should be that you up to today, you are remain on an organization called IPOB. You come on the street, you protest, and they come and deceive you. We have any document being sent in the name of IPOB or national protest has no value. They see it as an internal problem of Nigeria, that you are calling them to talk to Nigeria to stop treating you bad. That is the grievances. It's quite different from a document from a government in exile with a peaceful declaration that has a signature. If America can be who they are today from when Morocco was first country that recognized America after their declaration in 1776, which lasted for a year and 6 months before Morocco in Africa was the first country ever that recognizes America as a country. Seconded by France, and France now recognize them, give them equipment, support them for British to exit from their country. That is how Britain exits. When France gives them equipment, openlize America, support them, and they become a country. That is what we are looking at this stage. This declaration did not see us start. America did their own in 1776, and today you are in America. And we have issued a declaration, you refuse. And Namibia is a country. Algeria was in exile for over 30 decades. The exile was in Egypt and Tunisia and Burkina Faso. That is where they went into exile. And they did not come back home after the peaceful declaration until they got recognition fully. What of Namibia in South Africa? So still from South Africa. These are histories of countries. What of Poland? When their country, they later lose their country in 1939. The government of Namibia went to London. They live in London for 51 years, and they form government in exile, and they redeclare Poland again, wait for recognition until even US don't recognize them. That is when they have the morale to go down to their country and take over with the support of all their allies. And you're expecting magic. If Namibia can stand for confirmed 6 years before their first recognition, how old is US declared? If Algeria can stand for 12 years before their first recognition, how old is US declared? These are the things that has happened in this world. This is how other countries, that is what I told you that we're going to have a long run for us to achieve, to remove Nigeria in our territory. Do you think that every other countries in this world just landed and become a country? They fought war. They go into internal problem, not the internal problem that we are seeing social media. They go into internal problem, brother to a brother, a father to disown a son, and a son to disown his father because of a nation. The time is coming. What will be to be more strong? Are you strong? Have you stand that what you want is Biafra as a nation? Please, as we are preparing for our Hero Day, the weight of this, our Hero Remembrance Day, is very important. I'll give you an example of those because of the day of their Hero Remembrance Day triggers the recognition. That was the day that the world gave them attention, recognize them, even UN. And why is it important? Because we are proving that the country that you are talking about does not just start now to exist. It has been there before the time. That is why we call it what? Redeclaration and reaffirming who we are. If you listen to Voice of Mazen and the Can about reaffirming who we are, they use that to reaffirm to put into redeclaration of the unity of Biafra as a country. Use that to reaffirm that come out. The Mazen Can said that we must reaffirm who we are, redeem who we are. How can we do that? Is it by protest? Is it by agitation? Is it by BGC? Is it by FALLBACK Brgie? No, you must prove that you are a country. These are how you are reframing who you are. That is how you prove that it's a man, not on social media. And there is things that needed attention. The world are watching. Let me tell you, never a time internal matter stop recognition. There is never a time internal matter stop recognition. It never happens. Because the world know that after the declaration. That is why I have also read out to you the punishment of America given to those that was against their declaration. I have read those whenever one spent to become a country, what spent do to them. I have given you even France. I have given you Algeria. I have given you Ethiopia. I have given you all the punishment of those that are saboteurs that the country give them after they have get their country fully. And are you waiting for that to happen to you? Continue castigating USB you are declared. Continue. The law will take care of you. And you know about Obie told us that even also the Northern Korea or South Korea, that we will implement their law. When your citizens will be retrieved off from you. Do not America retrieve off some of their citizens because of their effort against America becoming a country. That those who want to remain under Great Britain, they said want to remain under King Charles, under the King Queen, that we don't want to have America as a country. It happens in America that you are today. After that, when British exists, the internal war begins. They call it cold blood war. Cold blood internal war of America. It happens.
Because what I am saying, Honorable Manyamini, our people are lame. They are weak. I am struggling to count how many men there are in Biafra land. There are no more men left. Weak, docile, and imbecilic. Weak. I don't know how we can take such people to war. I don't know how we can take men who are not men into battle and win. I am ashamed. Very, very ashamed. Nonetheless, we must preach this very gospel because man did not ask us to come. Chukwa Abiyama in heaven mandated that we should come. If not, that I was called to do this very work, I will not speak to any of you anymore. But Chukwa Abiyama said this very gospel must be preached, and we must preach it. I have prayed since yesterday up until now. My request is very simple. The same prayer I made in secret, I will make out here in the open. Chukwa Abiyama Biko, since it is your intention that your kingdom will be restored upon this very earth, I need men. I need men. I did not say boys. I said I need men. Those of them that you created to restore your kingdom, they should come forward now, not tomorrow, not next year. Chukwa Abiyama. You must bring them now. I did not say tomorrow. Because the insult is too much. It is beyond what any human being can endure. We want to go and get Biafra, or we die in the process, because we are better off dead than witness.
Did he say we want to go and get IPOB and stand on the command and control on that structure? We go and get what? Biafra. That is what we have gotten to. That's what our DPM has gotten to us with Obatobi Simon Ebanjok. Through Mazdan Kano, preaching like when John, when Isaiah, when all these people are talking about that Christ is coming, the Son of God, the Son of Man is coming. They have been preaching until he comes. Today, look at Biafra here, and you are against it.
There's some of this nonsense going on. The level of insult is beyond what any decent human being can tolerate. They bring their cattle into our land. They desecrate our land. They kill us in the presence of our families and nobody does anything about it. And when the police attend, the police sit idly by as people are being killed by not a multitude of people. Only four. Only four Awasa people can sack an entire village in Biafra land, and we call ourselves men. No, we are not men until we redeem our honor. Until we look at integrity and say we must have a part of it. Until then, to be honest with you. This is Radio Biafra. Now is the time to come forward. I did not say tomorrow. Now, tonight is the time to come forward. 100 of us, and then we march. 100 and we march.
For you who always think that we should unite, 100 of them after you may join, and today it has happened. Where are you now that it has happened? What are you doing now that the truth has been here? When this is about what I always feel so sad when I see things that happen in social media today. When those who are supposed to be here with USB are declared and put hands where everything goes together, they refuse to do that. My message to you is that the time is not waiting for anybody. And the Master Kano said, 100 of them will march. And have they come? Yes, they have come. They are the one who declares it. The Bible is no quibo. Now they are the Igbo Agosu. The Obomadina and a Meji, Obomadina and Ebana Wiz. Come about you, Akawaya. Abogod is to declare, declare Biafra, and you are against it. In any organization you are today, it does no longer exist. So far, usually declared is involved. Nothing like whatever you think and how I feel. It is about maintaining the criteria of the all existing protocol of the international community. Remove our Hero Day out of cultural Igbo Day. Let it be a place that we have going to achieve what Namibia, Bangladesh, Algeria, Timor-Leste, Venezuela, and many of them has used it to achieve in the past. Join as you travel to US to do that. Washington, D.C., where the government of USB is calling you, proving a law under Montevideo Convention that we have a permanent population. Ojukwu, in one of his words, said, Biafra will come from diaspora. Mazen Kanu said, when women in America join, Biafra has come. Why did you throw all this away in your life and continuously lying to the people? Mazen Kanu fought for Biafra to come as a country, not IPOB command and control structure is what is going to give us Biafra. No. Even the time will come when the people will give power to form a government in exile, the people give over to be Simon Ebanjoko the power to form the government in exile that issued a peaceful declaration of a country, United States of Biafra. It has been done and dusted. There is no other way. In conclusion, before I leave, let us listen to this. Why you have to go to Washington, D.C.
In the eyes of the UN, EU, and other international bodies, the difference between a Remembrance Day, organized by a social group, and a peaceful redeclaration by a government in exile, GIE, is the difference between culture and governance. In the 21st century, international law focuses on functionality. Here is how the two are viewed differently. 1. The nature of the event. Organization Remembrance Day. This is viewed as a civil society activity. It falls under freedom of assembly and cultural expression. International bodies see this as a way for a group to honor its history or mourn its past, similar to how veterans groups or ethnic associations hold parades. GIE, Peaceful Redeclaration. This is viewed as a legal and political act. It is an assertion of sovereignty. When a GIE redeclares independence peacefully, it is telling the world, we are no longer just a club or an organization, we are a state in waiting. 2. Legal standing and documents. Feature, organization/agitation group, government in exile, GIE, document type, petitions, protest flyers, and human rights reports, proclamations, constitutions, and diplomatic briefs. Identity, they issue membership cards. They issue national identity cards or passports. International response, we acknowledge your right to protest. We must analyze your claim under the Montevideo Convention. UN category, non-governmental organization, NGO, state actor, or national liberation movement. 3. The institutional readiness test. The UN and AU use a specific lens in the 21st century to decide if they should listen to a group. They look for institutional readiness. Agitation groups. If a group only holds protests and remembrance days, international bodies see them as a domestic issue for the existing country to handle. They assume the group has no plan for how to run a water system, a police force, or a court of law. GIE with redeclaration. By forming a government with a prime minister, ministers of finance, health, etc., the GIE proves it is ready to govern. This is why the peaceful aspect is so important. It shows the international community that the new state will be a stable neighbor, not a source of conflict. 4. Recognition of heroes versus recognition of authority. Remembrance. When you honor heroes, you are looking backward at what was lost. International bodies respect this, but do not grant any political power based on it. GIE redeclaration. When you declare a government, you are looking forward. You are presenting the UN with a legal peer. In the 21st century, bodies like the EU are much more likely to engage with a group that presents a transition plan and a shadow government than one that only presents a history of grievances. 5. Why the peaceful element is the key. In the 20th century, many states were born through agitation and war. In the 21st century, the Kosovo precedent changed the rules. The international community now prefers remedial secession, which requires 1. Exhaustion of remedies, proving you tried to talk to the original state. 2. Peaceful intent, proving you won't cause a refugee crisis. 3. Administrative capacity, proving you already have a government structure in place, the GIE. Summary. An organization holds a Remembrance Day to keep a memory alive. A government in exile uses a peaceful redeclaration to keep a state alive. If a movement only does the former, it remains a group. If it does the latter, it becomes a competitor to the existing government in the halls of international law. Do you feel that modern movements spend enough time building these administrative government structures compared to the time spent on public protests?
I hope you had it clearly. There is whatever leke na about USB about the sang the Krungel, this is only nation you have, whether you like it or not. There will be no other nation anywhere. It happens in Namibia. After the declaration, 8 groups emerged at the back of them. Even one of them went to go and redo the declaration of Namibia again. But when the world started to recognize them, they recognized only one. That's one that was first issued through a declaration. So Obato Obie has beat all of you down through the Tongozo Arabese peaceful declaration with all the cabinet members, and up to today, proving effective control of a government, that a country that will sign a treaty. If you're not a country, you can never sign treaty in this world. You can never. So my sister, yeah, go on, please summarize. Just want to call you. Yes, go on.
Yeah, because already not cheap because someone come now bus 4:30. I'm almost like I can't wait. Yes, now today no nanga at least not so no small. The man no all the time for now. Telling the truth with him no Agitation.
No problem.
So it very much. It's just that in mechegol in the past. In fact, enyere gola anya ka ị na-aghọta ihe na-eme kịta ọsịsọ o nwere ụdị any cause for fear eziokwu na maka our leaders their speech in the past and ihe na-eme kịta na connect the dots nwere ụdị even ndị a na-eme ya ha na-eme fallback nna dị nneche ha na-emechitere ha ifele because ihe a shame on them ihe niile dị clear even onye na-agba mgba achịkịta na ọ bụ na ihe m fụtara ha bụ na ọ dịrọ m ka chọọ ka anyị gbaa anybody akwụkwọ na court because ọ bụ na ọ bụghị ya ama oge nkere anụ amụ ada ma all these people na cause trouble agbakọ m ebe ha ga-esi kpewe ya ekpewe mana ihe m na-afụta ha bụ
I'm an award the wrong marketer. So in order to avoid all those and here, you have to this is settled in our land. All cancel when I because na as when they don't have that right. A man could do one or two things. The problem. But we forfeit all those things. Can we go to our land? Of and even all come so that people will use them as an example. We be to go to our land. So name makana we will never forgive or forget. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you. What a divine precious. Thank you so much. The Tongoza Rabeze is only trying to prove the law that proves that she's a mother of peace. On the Genzin law that guides her, she has right to serve anybody paper, to sue anybody to court, in any country where you are. So far, she will use her follow Gen Z to track you down, give you your name, your number, and your picture, and sue you to court. You come. She will be anywhere she is, send only documents and videos of you insulting her, and the matter ends there. But she's just allowing all of you. So my fellow Biafrans, the criminals know the truth. Yes, Equem Justice, thank you so much. David, Shiwendo, I see you, thank you. Wadangozi, thank you so much. Maureen, I see you, thank you so much for all your comments. They knows they're only looking a way to be relevant because they know that with USB are declared, they are no longer relevant to social media. That is what they believe. They are thinking about today. They are not thinking about next 10 years, what will happen. And it's very bad. That is our problem of Igbo people. We want urgent action. We forgot about that the future lies in the past. In the past history of all these countries that have gone through this, and they give you an example of 2008 of Kosovo, how they achieved their own. That is way, that is line, that is what USB declared is doing. There is no other way around. Stop panicking. USB is on point, and we are home. Nobody will stop us. Please, because of my time of work, we're going to end it here today until we come back again tomorrow. I thank you for being here, continuously liking and sharing the program. Invite one another to come and join us. It is very important as you do so, because by doing so, you are helping to share the message to everyone to listen to it. So I want to thank you all that are here till this end. From the beginning, Mommy Doreen, I thank you so much. Aizojugo. Mwadangos, I thank you. David Shiwendo, I thank you. Ekwem Just, I thank you. Maureen, and all of you from the beginning to the end. Even my brother, Amadi Chigozie, those are in the comment section today. Uchenna, my brother, all of you, thank you so much. And keep on looking out until we come back again tomorrow. Thank you. May Elohim continue to protect all of us. Give us the strength, that endurance that we are going to have, like people of Namibia, Algeria, Kosovo, people of South Sudan. They all have endurance. People of Somaliland, is endurance is way to have a new country. We must endure, and we must stand, defend ourselves, prove to the world that we have met all the criteria of the Montevideo Convention. So I want to thank you all, and may Elohim bless us, protect us, more strength, more energy, and more good health. I ask for this. He said, from me, from here, have a wonderful day. Bye for now. Bishop Onaga, you are coming late. We are ending. Thank you so much. But you make a point. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Musa has saved our life. She has removed us from rebel, insurgency, terrorists, incitement. Everything has changed. And any Biafran who is in the prison this time around, remain a prisoner of conscience. America has declared Mazi Nnamdi Kanu a prisoner of conscience. The same thing with Simon Ekpa and all the Biafrans who are in prison. Endurance, we are waiting. God is going to bring us out. And we, the Biafran people, we have our nation, United of Biafra, by maintaining the criteria of the all international global community. If you said it's not important, then you IPOB, stop writing to them. Not important, you stop moving around. You know what you're doing. But the end point is USB declared. November 29, 2024 was end point of any group claiming to fight for Biafra. A cultural day is a day, Remembrance Day is not a cultural day, but it is an event that triggers to international recognition. Please endeavor to be there on 30th May, that we are on our Hero Day. Also, today, there is a link, which is on our WhatsApp group, where you can find Join the Zoom, where USB is inviting all of you to come and table your grievances. I told you, and I wanted to tell you are not different, and are not the same. They are different things. Please, be calm. Remember USB. Time will come, and we will celebrate Dance in Biafra land. Thank you so much. A wonderful day. Bye for now.